How's it going anyway?
Yeah, it's going good. It's going good. Yeah, my mind has been raking over the past. I don't know
Good to
how.
know.
It feels like a long time ago, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, that it's been an interesting experience. But
Yeah.
I'll tr I'll try I've been told my wife said just keep it fun. I
Yeah.
I can tend to go into torment. But let's not do that. Let's, well, maybe.
But yeah, it's a long form podcast, so see where it takes us. But
But yeah,
whereabouts are you?
man.
You down south, yeah?
No, I'm in Glasgow. I live in Glasgow.
Oh, right, I didn't know that. Okay.
Moved here about 7, 8 years ago now. Yeah.
Ah, right, cool. What
Yeah.
took you with that? Like work type thing.
No, no. We just had to leave. My son was born. We had to leave London.
Oh, okay.
Too expensive. It's a pretty common story. There's plenty of people here like me. And my wife had a connection to Glasgow. She studied here. She always used to say, like, when she got a job, she studied here and then she got a job in London, and she said, I never wanted to leave Glasgow, so she loved it. And then, yeah, just life was hard, and I moved here. Yeah, but what? Not looking back. It's good. It's a good place to live.
Yes, it's similar for me to be fair. Like
Where are you?
I'm in Manchester now, but I was in
Mm.
London before.
Mm.
And yeah, my boy's mum was like had this relationship with Manchester. She'd been to uni here.
Yeah, yeah,
She was
yeah.
pretty keen to move up here, so but yeah, couldn't have really afforded to buy a family home, whatever, and
Yeah, yeah,
all
I
the
know.
rest.
It's boring, but it's true. But yeah, I mean, bringing it back to the band, we always, touring around the UK, you get a good feel for a bunch of cities, and Glasgow was always one that stood out as being like a fun place. It's comparable to London in a lot of ways, in its sort of culture and just sort of type of people you get here. And I would say, yeah, it wasn't that much of a big jump. I mean, distance-wise, it's a bit far, and it's a bit of a wrench, sort of having to leave London when your family are there and you're sort of not doing it at, lots of people move to London, then they have enough because they can't afford to live there and they move back. But when you're from there, it's it's a bit more of an emotional wrench, but I don't really mind. I mean, I'm fine with it. I go back there now and I think, oh, that was a good choice. When I go back there now, it's like, seems like Las Vegas or something like that. I don't know. Not a real place in some ways.
Yeah, I
Uh,
know what you mean. But is that where you grew up then, South London, obviously?
yeah, I grew up in Rains Park. I mean, if you know the band at all, then you'd know Morden, but Rains Park sort of just, I mean, the difference is ridiculous. You're walking in Morden and then suddenly it says, well, now we're in Rains Park. Oh, it looks exactly the same, but there's a psychological split. Yeah, South London, grew up there, and yeah, it was good. But I guess staying there, I think it would have been like I was living just like a sort of, would be giving my kids just like a slightly worse version of what I had. Whereas if you move somewhere else, you can kind of like put it in a different box or something, you know what I mean? And yeah, yeah, I always felt like we was. I mean, probably like, yeah, try and bring it back to the band. I think we maybe all felt like we were just in the sort of the arse end of nowhere, and like the fun was being had somewhere else. And I mean, if I wouldn't even afford to live like in Rains Park now. I'd be living in the arse end of nowhere, I think. Yeah. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But you were mates with Reese and Steve, is that right? That's what I've read.
Yeah, we were friends. We went to school together. I think those two knew each other a bit before from a previous school, but yeah, we were friends from when we were like, 12 years old.
Okay. And was like music something you had in common early on, or not really?
Yeah, definitely. Uh, yeah, me and Reese, we used to go to, all the gigs, all the, in that NME era. I mean, it's probably, you've probably had 100 people say this to you now, but the Strokes and all that kind of thing. We were into that. Saw every band on that list, and we were kind of gig buddies, me and Reese. Steve was definitely, I mean, he's the only one that's like a proper musician, really. In that he knew how to play his instrument and stuff like that. So he was definitely a musical person. Uh, um, but yeah, no, he never came along to. He never came along. It's interesting. He never came along to any of these gigs. But yeah, yeah, me and Reese always at the Astoria seeing whatever band was the one to see that sort of month.
Yeah, was it quite a good place to be, I guess, in London for all that? Must have been pretty ideal.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm thinking like this is like when we're 15, 16, but then even more ideal when sort of like you go and see smaller bands and they just be just as good. I mean, that era, you go to I don't know what it was, somewhere in Camden or the Brixton Windmill and see great bands all the time. It was it was great in that respect, yeah. Oh, you're making me you're making me whatever. What's the word? Yeah. Just reminiscing now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was it it was good. Yeah, well, there was never any. Yeah, I guess you grow up in London. I mean, you take it for granted, but it's never any of like wanting a band to come to your town. Everyone stops off in London, so yeah, couldn't be better in that respect.
Yeah, yeah. Was it kind of a very natural thing to form a band then? Like how did that happen early doors?
All right, yeah, yeah. So, well, uh, sorry, just something popped on my screen now. I can't see you now. I can only see me. Sorry, I don't want to
All
see
right.
me, to be honest. Yeah, let's put me. Sorry, yeah. Um, well, I was kind of maybe I'll just tell everyone. Like, I asked everyone else. Well, no, let's rewind a bit. I watched the video with Steve Ludwin, right? Who
Mm.
people don't know was the Good Shoes manager, and in that you had said. I'm trying to track down Good Shoes and I can't get in touch with them, which was a surprise. I didn't think we'd be that hard to find. But then I thought, uh, I'll send a message to all the guys, and we're being hunted. But they weren't in. No, I don't. I mean, I guess they didn't get in contact with you, so they weren't keen for whatever reason. I didn't say why. I don't know why. And then I was reluctant to be like, I'm probably the last person on the list. I mean, I'm aware I'm the last. I'm self-aware enough to know that you probably went to you were hoping for the other guys, but
Not really, Mel. I just want to speak to someone in the band, really.
yeah. And then but like maybe yeah. I've been working in radio and podcasts like sort of for the past 10 years. So I've asked maybe like 1,000 people to go on podcasts and all this on the radio and stuff like that. So. I thought, it's this karma. I've just got to do this. But then yeah. So the reason I bring that up is that I mean, I wasn't there at the initial starting point of the band. So I can only tell you that Reese and Steve got together, and then as you do, they recruited Tom, is Reese's younger brother, on the drums, and I actually saw them play. Yeah, I saw them do this gig. Reese has had this other band before, actually. Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll let that slide slip into history. And then I saw them play, and I thought, oh yeah, that's pretty good. And I was quite I was supportive. I felt like, yeah, you got a good thing going there. Keep it up. And then they were hunting around for a bass player, and I'd never played the bass. Uh, and Reese was kind of was sort of like, you should join. And I said no, just because I didn't want I didn't want to play the bass. I kind of didn't want to join someone else's thing, I guess. And I just thought this was in the era of like yeah, yeah, yeahs and like the White Stripes and stuff. And it was like it was cool to not have a bass player. It was like some kind of statement. Uh, so I said, you just not have, don't have a bass player. But then he kind of kept asking, as I remember. And we went off to uni. I started this uni course, and I thought I was gonna meet. I was into music, and I wanted to do music, but I didn't want to just like ruin their thing. So, uh, so, all right, I'm rambling. Funnel down. Funnel this story down. So. But then, like, I've been at uni for like, I was so impatient. I was like at uni for like 3 months and hadn't formed a band, hadn't done anything, hadn't met those imaginary people that I was going to do this. So then I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's jump on board. So it was kind of like a half when I joined. Um, But we had all, yeah, we all had that kind of musical bond, and we're like mad into music. Sharing a copy of the NME on the train to sort of college and all that kind of business. I remember seeing the Strokes, that Reading Festival, this one where they like. Do you like the Strokes?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay, good, because uh, we all went to Reading. Me and Reese and a bunch of other people went to Reading Festival, and it was the time that when they were just like blowing up, and we were like, wait, like you do when you're 16, you're not sort of just like having fun at a festival. You're just like, let's go and see the bands, and we were like front row at like this small tent they were going to play, and then they just made an announcement because they just like this tent was just ramming full of people because they were just like this buzz band, and just someone came on on the stage and said like, yeah, we've like for crowd safety concerns, we've had to move him to the main stage, and everyone just had to just like run like it, just like thousands of people to the main stage. But yeah, that's a formative memory. And then it was such a squeeze. Like I was so little, and I watched the whole gig just like sat on this gigantic Scottish guy's belly, basically, because it's
What?
just so squeezed. Like
Well, just like laying up against him.
just like, in a crowd, it's like so packed that you don't have a choice where you go. And then it was like this guy was just like in my ear, like he'd already seen them. Like he was like explaining to me how he'd seen them like 5 times or something. I was like, how the hell have you like? To me, they just like just appeared, but sorry. So I just like, yeah, that's a formative musical moment. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah, we were into the Strokes, and we were into that whole kind of thing. Um, so then I was in the band, yeah.
Okay. And how does it work with songwriting? Did they already have a fair few songs at that point?
Yeah, they had yeah, I was just looking at the vinyl record, and I think maybe five of those songs already existed. Um uh yeah, yeah, a lot of them already existed. And then but then when we got together, um then a bunch more appeared. So I'm trying to like make this interesting. Yeah, what songs? I remember writing like photos on my wall. We are not the same. And they became, yeah, yes, this is what I was worried about. Being lazy. Well, there was
With
five. I
oh.
remember they made it. Oh yeah, there you go. It's like they've made a CD. They recorded this demo on this like tape recorder in sh in a shed. So yeah, that's an important bit of band lore. Reese's Reese and Tom's dad, he built them a shed in the garden. So we had like we could rehearse whenever. I completely take that for granted now. It's like what a gift. Absolutely incredible. But because I had this kind of quite long thin garden and then there was another like long thin garden behind it. So you could have this shed. It was like literally like maybe two sheds just like stuck together. And we practiced in there. But they'd made this demo on this tape recorder that like they borrowed from uh Reese and Tom's dad was a teacher and he had this tape recorder like you'd play like your French oral exam or whatever, like
Yeah, I know what you
listening
mean. Yeah.
exam, that kind of thing. And they must have just stuck it in the corner. I mean, it sounded kind of yeah, dreadful. I mean, by modern standards. But I think it got played on the radio, that thing. So that might have been a bit of a thing for me to be like, oh my God, these guys have actually been played on the radio. I was probably quite impressed by that point. That might have been the turning point where I was like, all right, fine. I'll s- I'll suck in my ego. And yeah, play the bass guitar. I mean the thing is I didn't own a bass guitar. It's like he said like yeah, Reese, I think maybe Reese had one, just like you can borrow mine. It's like a classic story. It's like a cliche. The reluctant. You get two kind of bass guitarists. You get the one who's like absolutely. What you play music, right? What's your?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just before say anything about bass. I want to be like,
Now, we were in a very small band, but I
yeah,
play guitar. Yeah.
guitar. Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, like you get those people who just like just love the bass, and then there's like maybe like 75% of the other people who are just like, I was the last one to join, and I'm playing, I'm playing the bass. I was more like that. I was more like that.
Did you play guitar before that, though? Or not really?
Yeah, I play guitar. I mean, yeah, pretty badly. I mean, I played the bass pretty badly, but yeah, I could. Yeah, I started on the guitar. So yeah, where was I? Where am I in this thread? Yeah, so yeah, I think it was John Kennedy, who was this XFM guy who's still going, who's a bit of a legend, and he lived in Morden. I mean, maybe that was it. That was it. He was like, this recording sounds like crap, but these guys are my neighbors, so I better put them on the radio. Um, but yeah, there was one song that Nazanin, which was this song that was like the first we always used to play first and was like first on the album. I remember that being one I was like, oh, this I could get into this. I remember thinking this. I mean, it's weird to say that about your friends, but these guys, maybe they got something. Uh, yeah. So then you was yeah. So then we wrote a whole yeah, maybe like yeah, maybe half of the album. And a short answer to that question is maybe half of the album was already recorded. But yeah, I remember like writing those two songs I mentioned. That's the kind of the only songwriting bit of it that I can remember. Like we wrote those songs really quickly. And
Is that quite a
then
democratic process? How did that work?
uh democratic. I mean, I think that was a downfall, not to skip ahead a bit, but I don't think you can do that stuff democratically. It was democratic in one sense. Oh, yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, Reese wrote all it's one of those things where the music was kind of was 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 shared, but the lyrics and the melodies or the words and things like that always fell to Reese. Um, yeah, democratic, yeah. I
I know what you mean, though. Like, I don't know really. You need some kind of leader, I guess.
I think so, yeah. I think that's almost like the lesson that I take from it is that you need like just one person to be in charge. You can kind of try and for it to be democratic, but it's very hard and usually like maybe quite bad, to be honest. And I think why I mean part of the experience of being in the band was actually quite hard for me, to be honest, because of this reason, because I was kind of uh, I don't know, yeah. I couldn't really get a foothold and sort of creatively. And that's quite hard place to be for me at that point in my life, yeah. So, sorry, just keep it fun. Remember, keep it fun. That's the advice.
That is interesting, yeah. Because I think
No,
it's I'm talking
yeah,
to people, it's really hard to fall on a dynamic that works. You know what I mean? You can have like power struggles and stuff.
yeah, power.
Maybe not overtly, but like in the background.
Creative differences. I mean, there's definitely like one version of the band where I don't know, Reese was just in charge of everything, and it maybe just would have been better. And if I just switched off that part of my brain, I would have had a
Mm.
better time. And uh, yeah. I'm also reluctant to sort of say too much because I don't we never really had a sort of a band debrief. So we're all older now, a lot more mature, but yeah. So a more fun answer would be yeah, we yeah democratic. It was democratic.
Fair play.
It was it was it was democratic. It was democratic. Yeah.
So I mean, you'd be expected to come up with your own bass lines and everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. I guess yeah. Maybe that's the thing, isn't it? It's like yeah, the bass lines were mine. Yeah, but I guess like I was kind of cognizant of the fact that a baseline contributes. I mean, it depends, what you're talking about. But yeah, baseline maybe contributes 1% of the song. Song. I don't know what the rock maths of it is, but Um, sorry, can you tell I'm still got like hang-ups?
I mean, yeah, I think you're doing yourself down a bit, but I'll let you carry on if you
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
want.
I mean, yeah, doing myself down. That's been a theme. Uh, yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I was making my own bass lines, 100%.
How much
Um,
did you have to rehearse? I mean, some quite like intricate songs, I guess. Like, well, they sound intricate, like Nazanin, like you say. Was there a lot of rehearsing going on in the shed, I guess?
yeah, yeah, we did a lot of rehearsing. Yeah, but I've got this flashback of doing our first ever gig, and I remember saying to someone, like naively, I said, "Oh, we're trying not to rehearse too much because we want to keep it like fresh and alive." I can tell you that's absolutely bad, terrible advice. You got to rehearse like 10 times more than you think you do because it all fall apart.
Was the first gig in
Stage.
Cambridge, I was reading, I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 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 we did first gig in Cambridge. We knew this guy who he went to Cambridge Uni and he's like organizing some kind of event. And yeah, it was a weird one really because we got no connection to Cambridge, but we took it. That was yeah, it's the four of us. The others had done like maybe a handful, two, three gigs. So, yeah, besides that one. But as
Were
a
they
four,
good shoes at that point then? Or was that after you joined?
good shoes. Yeah, good shoes. Well, yeah, that's funnily enough. Yeah, I think before I was in the band, I'd actually suggested that as a name. It was like this running thing. Reese and Steve were trying to come up with a name for their band, so I'd sort of just text them like random like it was like just like stupid stuff, like you do, like oh this could be a band name. And one of them well this is telling, this is funny because I went to this other gig with a friend of mine. He was a big Jeff Buckley fan, so we went to this like Jeff Buckley tribute. I'm not a big Jeff Buckley guy, but uh, I think so he either I pointed at this guy's shoes and then said, "Oh, good shoes," and then I don't know which way around it was, but he went, "Oh, that could be a band name," and I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah." Takes it to Reese. Good shoes. And then the funny thing is, uh, the funny thing is, like, then obviously when you first start doing interviews and stuff, that were people, always the first question is like, why are you called Good Shoes? And I feel bad saying this, but I think Reese didn't like the fact that the story was that we were at a Jeff Buckley tribute band gig or something. Uh, and maybe like the first time they was, the journalist must have asked, oh, what was the gig? And I probably said, oh, it was Jeff. And Reese was like, oh, no, 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 no. It was like, okay, we don't, that's secret. So then it was this kind of, yeah, it became this really nothing story about how we got the name of this band. And then, if it follows you around, everyone's like asking you questions about shoes, like sort of it's an important thing to you, but I don't know. Yeah, really no one ever learns that lesson, do they? Think really hard about your it's a bit like naming your kid. I always like when you name your kid, I used to say like you got to do like test it like shouting it across the playground sort of thing. So like if it's too ridiculous, if you feel like you can't shout it across the playground and feel like, you know, uh
Yeah,
so,
same with the dog in it, I guess.
yeah, yeah. So you got to think like, well, imagine being asked about the name of your band like 100 times, and then see how you feel about it.
It felt like a thing at the time as well that people didn't want to be called the something. You
There's
wanted,
something, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, we were like in league with a lot of the bands, but yeah, interesting. We didn't go with the name.
yeah, I feel like bands who formed in the mid 2000s maybe like tried to
Maybe
steer away from that.
maybe it was the backlash. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, we didn't get that thing of people calling us the good shoes. Really,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
used to call us goody two shoes, and let's not even go into the good books thing because that's sensitive.
Did they come after you? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I hope in their defense they came at the same time
I'll have
because
to get them
that
on
caused a lot. No hard feelings. No hard feelings.
you.
Because I know I mean we were like we used to hang out with this band called Xerox Teens that had to change their name to XX Teens. And literally like the next month after they did that, the XX came out and what a ball ache, right?
Yeah, I remember that name actually.
Yeah. Anyway, good books. I mean, good books make sense because it's like a phrase, isn't it? Be in your good books. Good shoes is just anyway. It's my fault, but I didn't choose it. So like, yeah, I'm guilty by like association.
No, it's pretty
Uh,
like well, it's like kind of an iconic name of that scene now, so yeah, it's all
is
good.
it, is
I'd say
it?
so,
You,
yeah.
all right, okay. I
Um,
mean,
go on in.
oh no, go on. No,
I
let's move
was
this
just going to say,
along.
like, since your second gig was, speaking of iconic things of the 2000s, your second gig was on Pile Island with Mystery Jets.
Yeah, well, that's something, isn't it?
Pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was. Yeah, yeah, you're probably right. Second gig, it was. So yeah, Reese knew Blaine. I think they were on some kind of art course together. Blaine was a singer from Mr. Jets, and yeah, and then yeah, I remember hearing about that. We're going to do a gig on this island, and where is it? Oh, it was like in this guy's house or something. That's all I heard. I was like, oh, fine, okay, whatever. Then we arrived, and you walk across this like little footbridge, and you know Eel Pie Island. It's just like this. I mean, it's like kind of apparently like a legendary place where. But then there was just this massive, like a warehouse, and it's like this just belonged to this guy, and it was dad or something. Yeah, and they put on these gigs there, and that was quite something. That was like, yeah, looking back, something of a happening. To use a strange word. Um, yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, and sort of yeah, bringing up mystery jets. I think they were kind of like I think Reese was really inspired by them. I think because they were sort of taking it seriously. You know what I mean? They were taking being a band seriously and all that kind of business. Um, and yeah, they sort of led a bit of a path, and Reese really got into it. Just really, yeah. I mean, I've got like I didn't really have it at the time, but I've got so much like respect for him and like what he did just sort of get us on the road, like booking us like we did a tour, like half the gigs we like played to nobody and that kind of business. But he was like, yeah, like this is a serious thing and we're going to take this seriously and sort of get in touch with like these little record labels and business stuff like that. Um, yeah, because that stuff is really hard. It's hard to sort of have faith in yourself and do that kind of thing. Put yourself out there. Uh, so yeah, and I think maybe yeah, bands like the Mystery Jets were kind of just like I mean ahead of us, but like like by 6 months or something like that. You know what I mean? In that kind of like sense, like when you're young, it's just like life is like 6 months is like an eternity. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, definitely. Well, like looking back at that time,
Hmm.
like yeah, like you say, 6 months or a year would be massive in terms of what would happen in
Mm.
terms of that music scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So yeah,
Did
we're
he bring? Did he
um,
kind of bring the ethos to the band then in terms of the lyrics and the
well.
work?
No, I mean it was just in the air. Well, it just felt like in the air that sort of style of music, and it was just what was happening. I think, and Reese and Steve were like the Future Heads. I think were a big thing for them. Um, but we were all into the same kind of music at least at first. I'm trying to think of like who else. I mean, it was just in the air. I mean, I don't need to name the bands. You know the ones I'm talking about. The Strokes, the Future Heads, I don't know, like yeah, yeah, yes, Interpol. I think me and Reese were yeah, we were sort of into that first Interpol record, and there's connections there. But yeah, a funny thing is like I don't know if people say this to you a lot, but like we'd always sort of people would write about us and they'd mention these bands that we were influenced by, but we'd never heard. Like the XTC was one, and Wire. And I think there was another one. Yeah, I can't remember now, but just we'd never listened. We'd never even, and this is like pre-Spotify. You'd have to buy that record. I don't know, like to to hear it. So yeah, I just like thinking back to that time and like you'd read, yeah, like the first sort of sentence of the article is like, oh, they've obviously been raiding their parents' XTC records, and I don't know who that is. But yeah, maybe an old band that we were sort of into, Devo. I think Devo were probably definitely in the mix. I know Tom's the drummer, sort of got insanely into Devo. So well, I don't know what was the question? Well,
Yeah, I mean, I just following on like you mentioned the interview with Steve, and the
Mm.
manager,
Yeah.
um, he made like a point of saying that you were never into using any effects or pedals. Was that right?
All right. So yeah, ethos. You were asking about ethos. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, we never used any pedals. We didn't want to be that kind of band for sure. I think, yeah, that's probably something that Reese would have set up, would have said, and I would like he wouldn't have had to say it to me. I would have been just like on board. Um, I don't know. Here's a story for you. When we I don't know if Reese went, but like we had a friend who had heard that the Cooper Temple Clause. There was this band called the Cooper Temple Clause,
Yeah.
and they were filming a video and they were looking for extras, and like we were like 17, and that was just like a great excuse to just like bunk off college and do this thing. Um, and I really remember. I mean, this is hard. This is hard. This is kind of, it might be hard on them, but like they were like very effectsy, right? They were like pedals galore, sort of like wanging their guitars and just all this white noise coming out. I seem to remember. So and we were ended up being extras in this video, and not the whole band. I think it was just me. Let's just say it was just me and some other friends. And the guitarist, he kept strumming the intro to Last Night by the Strokes. Like, or like, I don't know, like, there was something in that, like, looking back, like, these guys had just sort of invested so much money into these pedals and this sort of like prog thing, you know what I mean? And they were kind of like, almost like taking the piss out of it, like, bang, 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 bang. And, yeah, I guess that was like the sea change. Like, you don't have like, you're not Johnny Greenwood. You want to be yeah, the whatever his name is, Albert Hammond Jr. Just like strumming a chord. So yeah, ethos of the band. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's the thing. Which will, if we get to that point in the story, that's the thing that'll be like. I kind of joined a band where everything was all set up already, and there was very little wiggle room for me in the end. So the ethos, yeah, the answer to your question, not that it was an ethos, but it just seemed like plainly obvious, you know what I mean? Yeah, no effects. Not gonna do any of that. We were kind of like I guess we thought we were like a punk band, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, that's also saying like Steve, as I've mentioned, he's like an incredibly skillful guitarist, and the sort of just what he could do with it, he just didn't need anything else, I guess. Like that's the honest. It didn't fit. Probably didn't feel like he needed anything else. He could get all those tones and whatever with his little plectrum.
And then, am I right in saying like you were playing as many gigs as possible basically in the London area? Is that right?
Yeah,
Quite early
yeah.
on.
I mean, like to talk generally about that time and like this again, this might be like something that people say a lot. I listen to a few of your episodes, but it was just like such a like fertile time for to be in a band. You know, club nights, people asking to play gigs, loads of venues in London. I mean, yeah, like we maybe like one a week or something like that. Uh, and all always like pretty fun, and yeah, it was just like to just like everyone. Yeah, I mean, that's a song, right? We formed a band. It's like everyone's forming a band, and it was like it was in a good way. Or not as if it would be in a bad way, but uh,
It wasn't like a contrived thing, yeah.
it wasn't a contrived thing, and that was great. Uh, I was gonna say something. Yeah, so I mean, I'm still doing music now, and I put on a gig like last year with this band, and I remember and we were looking for someone to support us. And obviously, I'm like, of course, I'm older now, and like everyone's got kids, and it's not like I'm not. It's not going to be like I'm 20 years old anymore. But like, I just sort of casually mentioned to people, "Oh, I'm doing this gig. Do you know anyone that's in a band?" And they just like the face there, look at me like, a band? You- What like it's almost like what's a band? You think it's still 20 or whatever. You think it's still 2002. What that you crazy? Uh but yeah. No, that it wasn't, it was the opposite of that. It was the opposite of that kind of thing. So yeah, we were doing lots of gigs. Yeah, and answer your question, yeah, doing lots of gigs. And then at some point, yeah, Reese booked this tour, I remember, and we just did it. We didn't even have a van. We had like we just had none of us could drive. We had a friend who just I don't even know how we fit all the stuff in this car. It's like yeah, just blows my mind actually how we managed it. But did some gigs. I remember one gig was in what's that town called? Shrewsbury. It's where
Yeah.
Shrewsbury or I say Shrewsbury. Yeah, I say
Yeah.
Shrewsbury. And yeah, we sort of did the sound check, came back, and it was a classic story where you just come back to this pub and there's like no one there except for like the three guys just drinking there anyway. And the guy said to us, "Oh, it's weird because we had Black Wire last month and it was rammed." Oh, what kick in the teeth. And I remember like driving back to this guy's mum's house in like the Welsh countryside, and like she cooked us like a bacon butty in the morning and we slept on his bedroom floor. Uh, so that was the beginning of it.
What do you say, like, what happened to uni at that point then? Were you still at uni or
Oh
you
yeah, well
left?
that's the thing. Yeah, that was kind of a difficult thing because where are we? Reese, yeah, Reese was at also at uni.
Which uni? Just in
He
London
went
then?
to Brighton, and I
Okay.
was in London. I was doing a film course, so I mean, I mean, it wasn't like I was throwing away a career, but yeah, I do have this memory of sort of being on tour and it becoming like a bit more professional. I mean, I don't think we sort of signed a record deal or anything like that, but it was becoming a bit more professional. And I just remember like I got this memory of like this phone buzzing in like the bottom of this transit van, and it was this guy like from this course that I was supposed to be on, just calling me every day, like, "Where are you? What's happened to you?" And I was just sort of putting it off. But yeah, eventually I just had to had to quit that. Um, and then throw my full yeah, sort of throw my full weight behind the band. And yeah, I think Reese was also just he just yeah, I think he was disillusioned by I mean he was on an art course as well, we were those kind of people. And then Steve never went to uni, so he was and Tom's like I mean he was like 18 years old. It's just I mean we were young, but he was young. So I think he might have done something musical. I mean, mu drumming was like his thing. So this was, yeah, kind of a shortcut really to whatever he was like, going to music school. I don't know what he would have done. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. But like, at what point did you feel like you were kind of gaining momentum type thing?
Gaining momentum. I mean, it's just insane how like fast it was really. Like, again, I take it all for granted. Like I say, it was this fertile atmosphere, a fertile sort of breeding ground. Gain momentum. Well, I mean, we've got to do a little sidebar on Steve Ladwin, I think, because
Yeah, yeah.
um, we met Steve Ludden at one of these like early gigs. I mean, I think he said in that interview, this is our first gig. No, not quite, but really early on, and he was like, "Yeah, well, that's talk." And yeah, he seemed to have a lot of sort of like background in the music business, and he was like, "I'll be your manager." Yeah, okay. I remember really saying like, "There's this guy." I was like, "Well, what we got to lose?" Uh, I mean, yeah, okay. Steve Ludman's son, but uh, I mean, watching that video of him. I mean, I love the guy, of course, but he's obviously a highly eccentric guy. And I mean, he's like the polar opposite of what we were like. I mean, back then, I mean, he's t said that we were like, well, I don't know what he called us, but
I think he's called you the greatest artist of all time.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Something.
Well, yeah, I did. I sent that message to, I sent that video to all the guys, and that was one of the quotes that someone pulled out. Yeah, Thomas, the greatest artist of all time, which is great. I think he's being sincere, but I think, I mean. Yeah, with the best will in the world, we're probably not the greatest artists of all time. But
But he did say like he felt like you were his biggest achievement in music.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that could make you cry. Someone saying that. I mean, he's been in a lot of bands. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's a part of our story. I mean, failure is a part of our story in a sense. Like, we never made anyone a lot of money. Let's put it that way. Uh, and there's no one, I'm not saying I'm saying this, and we all have our part to play, but one might watch that video and think, you put you put this guy in charge of your career? This guy? Uh, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I wish, I mean, yeah, there's a few things, yeah, there's one, I mean, he's, I don't know what, yeah, I mean, it's no, I'm not gonna, what do you say, slander the guy. He's high all the time. I've never seen him not high. And he's got this snake thing, right?
Mm.
Got this, drinks and injects snake venom. And he's been on lots of yeah, like you said, documentaries made about him because says he's never been ill in his life. And he used to say, "How old do you think I am?" And he does look young. He does look young. So anyway, so yeah, but one time we were recording this at some demos at this place called Southern Studios, and Steve was like Steve Ludwin was there sort of most of the time, but then he sort of just didn't went missing for a few days, and then he's, so where's Steve Ludwin gone? And then he came back a few days later, and the story he said is like, oh yeah, I've been in hospital for like 5 days. I was like, oh, what happened? Oh well, I was injecting my snake venom. Didn't talk anything like this, but injecting my snake venom, and I usually do about this much, and then just that day I actually went whoop whoop, and then he got this picture on his phone, and it was like it's like his face was like ballooned up. And his like arm was just like gigantic. He's like, yeah, you know. But like he's an absolute legend in a sense. But yeah, like personality wise, I could see like he would look at us like as kind of alien beings. Like we were very like dry humor. No, yeah, it's like we were probably just like joyless, like desiccated. Yeah, he called us old men. That's what he called us. Old men. We were like 19, and to him, we were listening like old men. But yeah, I mean, he told the story in the podcast. Another story is like, as an act of self-promotion, he he sort of like did a pentagram or something and lit these candles. He's a bit of a goth, and he put a Mars bar up his bum and filmed it and pooed it out and sent it to the national press. And he said, "Oh, that really backfired. Really backfired. They thought, yeah, like they lost my record. No, I don't know. Something happened. Like, yeah, um,
But I know
yeah.
what you mean
So,
there. Do you think he's saying like as good as Steve was in his own way, maybe it'd have been interesting to see someone who was a bit more
well, no,
formal, however. I
that's
don't know.
not to say. So then he kind of hooked us up with this other management company, and
Oh,
then
okay.
this other guy, Paul Samuels, he was our sort of other manager. He was like the serious. He like we only well, we saw him occasionally, but he was like the office guy kind of thing, and he had some kind of yeah. He managed. Or he did something with Oh, here's the name. Get Kate Where Kate Fly.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, so there was like a sort of more like a straight guy, a numbers guy, a contracts kind of guy as well in the mix. I don't think Steve Ladwin could have done all that.
Not an
But
admin guy, no.
I mean, another thing I have to address. I'm sorry, I won't go. I'm not going to make this like a response video
No,
to
I'm up for him out. It's all
like
good.
like a beef. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot to go into, but I don't want to get too personal. But like I have some kind of there's some kind of neurodiversity in me like that we talk about these days that wasn't really talked about then. And one one like offshoot of this is that I find sincerity, like expressing sincerity, quite hard. And he told a story in there where we were on Zane Lowe's radio show. This feels like I've got a yeah, I'm starting a beef with Steve Ladwin, and I don't want to. He's got the Ouija boards on his side, this guy. Um, yeah, we were on Zane Lowe's radio show, and Zane Lowe said in his way, like, "Oh, it's going great for you guys. How's it going?" And I had said something like, "Yeah, and it's all thanks to you, Zane." It's like knowing what I know about myself now, and like people sometimes take me the wrong way, and I can be a bit like that. I understand, like maybe it did come across like that, but I can't imagine myself like really using that. So this is just me defending myself, like using that as like some kind of platform to take a dig at Zane Lowe. I probably was like try, trying my very best to be sincere. Probably should have just not given me a microphone. But
I can't. But Steve was saying like he barely spoke to Zane Lowe after that. But I was like, then I find it hard to believe that Zane Lowe would take it the wrong way. I don't know.
no comment.
All right,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know Zane Lowe. I don't know.
fair enough.
Um, and there was something. There's definitely something in all of us, kind of like we want to like, just like when you're young, you're a bit precocious. You want to kind of yeah. He probably thought we were a bit precocious, but I mean, one. Okay, last point on Steve Ladwin. Steve. No, because this is this yeah. Because everyone's just listen to this thinking, who the fuck are they talking about this guy? I don't know who this guy is, but he was our. It's relevant because he was our manager, and this is a good news
Yeah.
story now. Okay, so,
Okay.
but in the sense that we were sort of from different worlds, and that there was this one time we were in the studio, we were recording this song. Which one was it? So a small town girl, which was like a single, and has this bit line in it, goes like, everything's okay, everything's all right. And Steve Lundgren sort of comes into the studio and says, I got an idea, Reese. Uh, don't you think it should be more like everything's okay, everything's all right, like that? And just like, just it's kind of like this cringy moment, like knowing Reese, like, no way, Steve, you've read the room wrong. Talk about some kind of ethos, yeah. But he was, he was sort of from, he's American, obviously, and he's from the sort of grunge,
Yeah.
pop, punk kind of genre. But yeah, he's an yeah. Just a final point on him. I promise, because it also he was from an era where like the amount he sustained a music career like very consistently, and it was always something that he would bring up like when you get onto like the demise of the music industry and like Napster and CD copying and stuff like that, he'd always sort of bring it up, like uh I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, the bands he's been in, I'm not sure like how successful they were, but he bought himself a flat. You know what I mean? He sort of sorted himself out, and he'd say stuff like we did a gig at Reading Festival, and the whole tent was full, and he'd say like, if this was 1996 and you'd filled out that tent, you'd be buying houses in in Camden right now. It's like, fuck you. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean that's something we could come on to.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
anyway,
I've
that's
got,
Steve done.
well, I've got to mention that he did specifically say that he thought you were a difficult character that he'd argue with.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that true?
Well, yeah, I was a difficult character, and I mean, yeah, I've got a bunch of regrets about. I think maybe just as a band, like communication, very bad. There's a lot of passive aggressive stuff going on. I mean, I guess was I a difficult character? I guess I mean, at that point in my life, music was so central to everything. Like, sort of the idea of like artistic integrity and sort of, what do you want to call it? Just like doing it right, was so important to me that, yeah, like if I was probably like asked to do a bunch of things and didn't want to do them. Difficult character, and I mean, we haven't got on to the amount of drinking that we did, and that was probably a lack of like professionalism in that. At the start for sure. So yeah, like I probably wouldn't disagree with that characterization. That was a bit difficult, but I mean, he had a sideline. Sorry, we're still on Steve. He had a
It's all good.
sideline in sort of like he got given like a pop protege, and he'd sort of like be the Svengali, I guess, like in the traditional sense, like write their songs and stuff. And one time he gave me a call, and he's like, I had made this other music like before being in the band. I was sort of making my own music, and it was kicking about, and I would still give it to hand it out to people. And there was this one track that he liked, and he called me up one day and said, I'm just pitching some songs to Paris Hilton, and there's this track, it's track 7. Do you think I could use that? And I was like, no. He was like, oh, really? Yeah, no. But I don't know if but that opportunity is probably not going to come my way anytime soon. But would I do something different? Would I be like, yeah, fuck, why not? Paris Hilton. But at that point, I guess I was taking myself quite seriously. Uh,
Well, no, I mean, he did mention he was like, if there's any talk of music on adverts, it'd be a firm no. But I think that was more of a thing at the time, wasn't it? Like the idea of selling out, whatever.
idea of selling out, yeah. I mean, I'd like to say we had like hundreds of offers and we were turning down money left, right, and center, but no. I know, like, yeah, I mean, we're zooming forward a bit, but the music industry did crash, and I know lots of bands they had no other choice but to yeah have a song on an advert or something. I don't think we ever. I mean, I don't think we were given the opportunity to sell out. To put it that way, but we absolutely would never, never. uh, yeah, no, I think yeah, another one, which is another guy, the guy that ran our record label. Same song. Remember at one point he sort of like must have woken up in the middle of the night and just had this genius idea of like uh because there's this rumor that the song was like about Keira Knightley, which just completely was not true.
Which song, sorry?
This song, oh, it's the same song that I was mentioned before, Small Town Girl.
Right,
It was
right.
like because we used to get asked about it, and she's like, no, it's not. It's like, oh, that's kind of boring. But he must have woken up in the middle of the night. It's like, it's a great idea. We could have a music video. Keira Knightley could be in it, and we could play on this thing. And yeah, it's like all of us would be like, no, I think that's like a, sh a shit idea. Although it's probably like a great idea. That's the thing. For selling music, it's like absolutely. Now I know. Now I know. It's like that's an absolute great idea. But you lose something, don't you? You lose something uh,
Yeah, yeah.
in doing those things that you don't want to do, but like they might be good ideas. But like that's basically our money he's spending. I don't know what Keira Knightley would have charged. I wish she would have done it. But yeah, don't spend that money on that, please.
So yeah, like, how did it work
Anyway,
with
yeah.
Brother Records and like
Right, yeah.
were they like the only people in at the time, or was there a
Yeah,
few
yeah.
choices?
As another thing that would get my goat would be like read an article and it would say, they run down, like good shoes, young whippersnappers running down Camden High Street with 10 record label contracts in their hands and stuff like that. No, it wasn't like that. There was there was pretty much only one choice. We met with like a couple of other people, but they were very weird. I remember one weird meeting with these guys. They arrived in suits, and it's like they didn't. I don't know. Yeah, I would like to know that what story they were arrived in suits, and then they were like weird. We want to start a record label. It was like they wanted it for some kind of tax write-off or something like that. But then I mean, Excel recordings, they were interested for a little bit. I mean, I don't know. Do you talk about this stuff? Do other people talk about this stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Excel recordings were interested, and they were like, they're obviously an amazing record label. And they gave us some money for, that's another f funny memory I had is like, they gave us some money to make a music video, Excel recordings, and we like, we were like, oh, what should we, should we ask for like £300? Yeah, okay, yeah, don't push yet. And we made this like incredibly cheap music video ourselves, and then yeah, like with
Which
high.
song was that?
Oh, that was the same song again. That was the very
All
first.
right.
That would have been like before we were, yeah, like yeah. To make the story complete, we did a single with this record label called Young and Lost, which was run by these two two women who Sarah and Nadia. They were great. That was definitely part of some kind of thing going on. So we did that first single, and then we made that video for £300 when we could have probably asked for like I don't know. Don't like to think. And then what were you saying? Brill. So yeah, then I
They
Excel.
say like another band recommended you to them or something.
Yeah, I don't know how, but basically this guy, yeah. So XL recordings were interested, and then I was gonna say it was like apparently this guy, the A&R guy, like he got to pick like one. He wanted like two bands, and they said no, you can have one, and we were like the ones that didn't get picked.
Okay.
I think that yeah. But then there was this other guy, Leo Silverman. He ran this record, Brill Records, but he was famous. He worked at XL Recordings, and he had made his name. He was like in the rave thing because XL Recordings was like part of the rave world, you know. And then the Prodigy he was involved in, and then he signed the pardon me, the Avalanches, I think, and then the White Stripes.
Right. I was going to say I remember the White Stripes on XL. Yeah.
Yeah. And he told a story about like he would just like they were on tour in America and he just followed them around to every single gig and he would like sleep outside their hotel. That's what he said.
Wow.
Until and then yeah, I don't know. I don't then he just said like I don't know. I maybe I'm getting the story wrong, but it's something like they knocked on the door of his car and he woke up and it's like, you know, like, okay, give us a contract and they signed it and they just drove off.
Yes.
Something like that. That might be romanticized, but something like that. Yeah. So for that reason they gave him he sort of like you do when you make your name, then you leave, you start your own record label, and it was funded by EMI, but he was the boss and he had this other band called The Envelopes. They were this Swedish band, and I guess he was looking for like his band, like to sort of make his name on his own. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's I forget how the connection was made, but yeah, he got recommended us came to see us. He liked us. I mean, I think he really genuinely. It's a bit like Steve. Like they say it a bit too much. Like I remember him seeing him like once all the dust had blown over, like seeing him and him going like I just want you to know, like I did like seriously like good news. Hey, I believe you, but you're saying it too many, too many times now. Uh, yeah, so there wasn't, yeah, no, it wasn't like yeah, and we signed the record deal in the shed, our spiritual home, and then got really drunk, yeah, with Silverman. Uh,
Did it make, I mean, did it just make
mm.
sense to sign? I mean, I don't know what it looks like, a contract like that, but did he have much, did he look at it much? Like, did he have someone look it over or anything like
Yeah, we had a lawyer. Did I look at it? Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can, did I look, the only thing I can I mean, it's really bad. I mean, it's an endemic thing with musicians and contracts. You sign it because you there's no like you don't know what any of it means. You really don't know what any of it means. I remember like it saying the universe in it. That's the one thing I can remember. So this is applicable to the United Kingdom, the world, and the universe. I think that might be a common thing in general contracts, but like they're just really covering their bases. But I mean, there was a number. There was there was like a figure that even at that I don't know at that time didn't seem it seemed quite measly. Like thinking, well, like because this you know you sign this contract for this and everyone mentions this like oh how much, but it's not really for you. It's for your like career and your music videos and all that shit. And then I was like definitely thinking like uh yeah well this is divided by four people already and I mean, that sounds ungrateful, but we didn't really have a choice. But I, how negative am I being, like on a scale of
that? It's all interesting stuff, mate. It's
got,
nothing unusual, don't worry.
I got to watch myself. Yeah, uh, yeah. What can I remember that time?
But how would you make it work?
Felt
Like
quite cool.
where were you living and stuff? It was like, could you live in London fairly
In
reasonably at that point or
I
not?
no, no. I was living I was living like in this like I was no longer a student. I was living in like a hangover of like the same people I was living with as a student. Yeah, like on a student loan. And I mean, it was but that was that was kind of like cliche thing. Oh, that was possible then. Rent a room in London on a student loan. But it was, and but then yeah, no, when the time when that ran out, yeah, where was I living? I living with my parents. But we were on tour a lot, so it kind of
Yeah.
made sense. I mean, it wasn't, yeah, no, we didn't get those penthouse apartments. We were living with our parents. I mean, eventually I lived with a girlfriend, but I was basically like bumming off her. But yeah, could we afford to live? Not really, no. It was
Seat of the pants, whatever they call it.
poverty line. No, I mean we all yeah, I mean luckily we could do that. And we lived in London where all the action was and but yeah, I mean that was it would also add up to the undoing. I mean yeah, you put yourself on a wage. I don't know if this is interesting, but you kind of you sort of like you form this business and you put all it on a wage and they're like, oh, we'll start you off on this amount. I don't know how much it was, but like the start, it's sort of things like, wow, we've got some money. We actually got some money. But then you're like, oh, hang on a minute. I was literally working for the last 2 months, like 24 hours a day. I mean, working is like, is a relative term, but like, what's going on here? What am I saying? What am I saying? I'm saying, yeah, we weren't earning much money. That's the short end.
Yeah, fair play. And like in terms of like a
And did we
community,
read the contract? Yeah, we certainly read it. Did we understand it? No. And do we
yeah.
still not understand it?
Mhm.
Like, okay, we actually just the other, I mean, maybe it was last year or something. We had to get together to sort of look at this other contract. So we had to sort of renew like this thing that we'd signed, and it said like this is going to last for 15 years or whatever. It's like that 15 years actually passed, or 20 years. And then we had to well, do you want to re-sign this agreement? And we all sort of did the same thing again, sort of looked at this. What does this all mean? Uh, and just said, okay,
Learned your lessons then, yeah.
yeah. Would we just? Hopefully, our Silverman's not listening. Should we just like ask one question about a particular clause, like clause 14? Can we just check what that is? And so it looks like we know what we're talking about, but then just sign it. But yeah, yeah. Did
But I
we?
mean,
Oh,
if say you wanted to like re-release it for like a 20th anniversary or something, could you do that
oh,
quite
right.
easily or not?
I wonder. Yeah, I'd have to look back. Yeah.
Because some bands I spoke to said they don't, like the Paddingtons, they said they don't
Right.
have the rights to re-release
No,
a
no,
vinyl or anything, which I thought was a bit mental.
no. I don't. I mean, obviously, I've just shown that I don't know, but I don't think so. No, that would be with the record label. Yeah.
So that'd be EMI these days, would it?
No, I think. Well, we're fast forwarding a bit, but the end. Yeah, maybe that's not. Yeah, I don't know. EMI. No, I don't think so.
Right.
I don't know. No, I don't know. No, I absolutely do know. No, I don't.
All right, we'll get to that point, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get because because if yeah, let's get to that point. Bloody hell, it's been a while already. Okay,
Yeah, okay. So like when it comes to, I was going to mention, sorry, yeah,
just one
community.
more thing on
Go
Leo
on, sorry.
Silverman. Leo Silverman. No, no, not Leo Silverman. No, doesn't matter. I was gonna make a joke, but doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Sorry, sorry.
Yeah, one more thing on Steve Ludwig.
That's what I was going to say. I said the wrong name. Fuck.
Yeah.
Um,
Community band, like says, I read that you're good mates with the Maccabees and stuff like that.
yeah, again, that's Reese went to Brighton. He studied illustration, his art course, and the Maccabees were they're not from Brighton, are they? But they were must have been, yeah. He knew Orlando, so yeah, a lot of these, yeah, yeah. He knew the Maccabees a bit, and the guy from Metronomy. I remember me meeting the guy from Metronomy, and he was in this other band. And then, yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, friends with the Maccabees, and we did a ton of gigs with them. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did a ton of gigs with them. Nice guys, obviously. Uh,
But what about in terms of like NME and stuff? Did you have a good relationship with them?
enemy. I feel we definitely never made it into the big leagues. There was definitely a kind of a threshold you had to cross. I don't think we really made that. I don't know about relationship. They did write about us, didn't they? I think they gave us. I mean, who would know about us if it wasn't for them? To be honest, uh,
Well, it
I
sounds like I had a lot of decent radio play, but yeah.
oh, decent radio play. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, yeah. Um, I couldn't say. I couldn't say if we had a good. I may. I, the whole sort of experience. Looking back, there was like one side was like all our friends and all the people we're hanging out with, you know what I mean? They were like th thought like were so impressed that we were doing any other stuff. Like, oh, you're playing at the Astoria, or you're recording an album in Sweden. Oh man, that's so cool. But then like you had that in one one ear, and then I sort of had this sort of sense on the other side from the record label and from various people like this isn't going well. I don't know.
In
Like
terms of what though, like
in
numbers or what?
terms of numbers, yeah, in terms of like that kind of thing, like the kind of thing that you'd want like to be on the cover of NME, like or what kind of business like or like get played on Radio 1. That kind of stuff was really like always out of our reach. Like going to America, like, yeah, maybe next year. uh
Did
I
that
don't
never
know.
happen then?
No, 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 yeah, we never went to like never happened. Yeah, there's this sort of part of yeah. Am I being too negative? Yeah. No, there's part of it is like we were really weren't sort of doing well, and that's kind of like why I mentioned that the NME thing. Like I feel like there's probably people like work like it's weird to think of it now, like people working for us, you know, trying to get us to be in the enemy. It's a mad thought. Uh, Also on our record label was The Knife. Do you remember The Knife?
Yeah, yeah.
We were like insane fans of The Knife, Good Shoes, or like, and then they did this album, Silent Shout. It's just like still one of my favorite albums. And then they got signed, not completely, just like in Europe or in the UK or something. They signed to our record label, and then this guy who was the press guy, I remember him like complaining about like he had the knife and they wouldn't do any press. They were like, I keep telling them to like you can be in this magazine and you can be on this TV show, and they won't do it. And then he had us, and they were like, he was probably just constantly going, do you want good shoes? Do you want good shoes? No, we've already got the Maccabees. Sorry, yeah, no, we did the Maccabees. It's all right. We don't need the good shoes. Sorry. Oh man. Can you tell like this is not Steve Ludwin is not. We were no, sorry. What I should be saying is that we were the greatest band of all time. Right.
But it felt like, in terms of recording as well, it felt like there was, I think it was a thing at that time with bands like the Maccabees and people like that, and
Yeah.
yourselves, where the demos would have quite of a lease of
Yeah.
life of their own.
Oh yeah,
Just-
definitely. Yeah, we
Yeah.
recorded these demos Southern Studios. Again, I think that was paid for by XL, and they let us record these demos. And yeah, like it was that era of people copying CDs
Hmm.
and sharing demos, and that was yeah, they get bandied about, and people would know like gigs in London, people would come because they'd heard these demos. Yeah, uh, you're right, and that kind of thing doesn't happen anymore, or does it? Who knows? Uh, and that was yeah, made a big difference having these demos, although they were a bit ropey. Uh,
But they would you had like
yeah,
videos to them and stuff, or is that not
yeah.
right?
Did we? I think one got turned in.
I wanted to ask about the animated one. Who did that?
Animated one.
Never meant to hurt you.
Oh, that was yeah, that was I'm gonna get her name, Hannah Waldron.
Okay.
Yeah, who was Reese's girlfriend. I
All
don't.
right.
I'm sort of aware that those guys didn't want to. Like they're all. I want to say also that although they don't want to talk to you, there's no like drama there. They're all fine. Just want to put like everyone. If anyone's worried about them, they're all fine. They're
Yeah.
all okay.
I mean, Hugo from the Maccabees said he thought that Reese was a lifeguard. Now I didn't know if that was some kind of in joke, but I
Yeah, funny in joke.
didn't.
Reason, I mean, yeah, I'm thinking, what should
No.
I allow them their anonymity?
Yeah, that's fair
No,
enough. Yeah.
no comment. No,
Yeah, yeah.
no. I say no. Oh, no comment. I'll just say that they're fine. They're all good. We're in contact. We actually saw each other last year. The first time we've all been in the same place for a friend's birthday last year for a good few years. We'd see each other a bit.
Yes. Probably a
Yeah.
good opportunity to say. I mean, I did ask people for questions, and there's plenty of people asking about any chance of playing again and stuff.
Wow. No. Well, this is the thing. I'm not in the band. The
Right, okay, I'll
band
get to that, I guess.
is on hiatus. The band is on hiatus, isn't it? So they didn't officially break up, and I'm not in the band. So
Right,
I would
right.
have to be, I think I would have to be invited back into the band if I was going to play. But would they play again? I wouldn't hold your breath.
Fair enough.
Well, I mean, I will say that, yeah, we went to a friend's birthday. Funnily enough, it was the birthday of the person who drove us around on our first, like, mini tour in this tiny little tiny little car. And he apparently he had requested because he knew we were all going to be there. He was like, and he had a sort of a band, like a sort of party band, whatever you call them, a live band, like hired. So all the gear was there, and apparently he'd put in some request by Steve, like would we do some old numbers? And well, again, in the interest of anonymity, I won't say who was most up for it, but I don't. Judging on that response, don't I can't see it happening.
Well, so that didn't happen
Didn't happen, no.
then. Oh, okay. It's a shame.
I know it does. No, yeah. Um, it's hard, isn't it? That would be it'd be tricky because that could really fall. You could fall flat on your face, couldn't you?
Um, what in terms of interest?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd be more than fine from what I've seen. But depends what you want. I guess it depends what you want to do. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, as I say, I mean, I'm not in the band anymore, so I can't comment.
I'll take that as your bang up for it, but yeah.
If the money's right, I've changed. I've changed. The money's right.
But yeah, going on to that recording, what was that like? How did you come to record in
Oh, right,
Sweden?
right. We recorded in Sweden. There was this guy, right? Like, how late can you stay up?
Yeah, I'm up for it as long as
You're
you
up
can.
for it. I'm up
Yeah.
for it too. I'm up for it too. We recorded in Sweden. There was this guy called Tor Johansson, and he had recorded the Franz Ferdinand album. So he was a sort of you know, a man of the moment. Um, and we were going to record it with him. Am I getting this right? We were going to record it with him, and they have a studio in Malmo in Sweden. It's like the southernmost part of Sweden, called Tambourine Studios. And then at the last minute, I think he had like I, he like had a death in the family or something like that, and he couldn't do it. And so his guy who normally like he's sort of his partner is this guy Per Sunding, sort of musical like production partner, and he in the end he produced it. I mean, yeah, another legendary guy, such a nice guy. Uh, why was it in Sweden? It was in Sweden because of there and because of that. And I don't know really. We like had some aborted attempts with some guy like funny enough with the guy who recorded The Strokes, Gordon Raphael, he
All
also
right.
up for doing it. And that's funny because apparently he replied to like Reese's email and he said, "Yeah, but I'd want to like sort out the bass or something like that." He said he had a comment like from the demos like about the bass. And I mean, I guess yeah, he I guess Reese was like protecting me and being like, I don't want him to fuck with your bass, so I'm gonna say no. And at that time, I mean, like we were all kind of like obsessed with the Strokes, uh, and I was kind of disappointed. I was like, oh, that sounded pretty fucking exciting going to New York and or I don't think we would have gone to New York, but anyway, yeah. But since then, I've actually read that guy's autobiography, and no, right, I'm just gonna stop there. I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad we didn't in the end record with him.
Okay.
And then we did a single with James Ford,
That is.
another luminary who's gone on to bigger, better things. But I don't know what happened there.
Which single was it?
All in my head. I
All right.
remember he got out a trumpet and he was like, he couldn't play the trumpet, but he could play, or he wanted to put trumpet on the song. And he couldn't play the trumpet. So he was just sort of like playing every note, like every combination of fingering so he could get and then like editing it together. And I know like yeah, talking about ethos of the band, yeah, I think yeah, Reese was dead would be dead against like a trumpet. No way. And it's just this memory of him like being like, yeah, we're not gonna use this. So maybe I don't know, maybe probably just couldn't afford him, to be honest.
What,
Uh
so that version of
yeah, I think
that
that
song didn't come out?
no, I think it came out. I think
Okay,
that
right.
was a single and then there was a different one on the album, yeah.
Right, right.
But fact check that. Uh, and then yeah, we did another one with this guy in Liverpool, which is terrible. I can't remember his name, but he was another name that was going about. He had some connection to the Arctic Monkeys, and then that was yeah, like no one liked it. No one in the management, no one liked it. And then we did it in Sweden. Yeah, sorry. That was a bit,
Okay.
but we did it in Sweden, and this town is like all built on the Cardigans. You know the band the Cardigans.
Yeah,
My favorite game. Like everyone just everything you see is like, oh, this belongs to the Cardigans. Like we recorded it in this kind of warehouse. Like there's a studio, and then they have like a sort of rehearsal space. It's like, oh, this belongs to the Cardigans. Uh, I bought my house when the Cardigans, released that song. Da, da, da. You know, they were like this studio was connected to the Cardigans. So yeah, it was kind of fun time actually recording with pair sending. Yeah. Um
Was it pretty straightforward then at that point in
it's
terms
quite
of
straightforward. It's quite straightforward, yeah. I don't know how like nerdy you want to get, but yeah, some songs were like live, some songs were kind of more constructed. Uh recorded quite a lot of songs. I don't know actually, did we record a lot of songs? Not really, not much more than there was on the album. There was a few that got sort of jettisoned or became B-sides as usual.
You can say that now on Spotify, there's like 23 songs on there.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. Well, we were okay, there you go. Yeah, they would have all been yeah, we went back. We actually went back and we recorded some more. 23 songs, really.
Yeah,
Wow, yeah, that's interesting. I suppose I think maybe yeah, I think there was kind of like the songs that were going to be on the album were kind of it's not like we recorded 23 and then picked from them. As I recall, it was like it was going to be this broadly like this 12 or 15 or something, and then the rest were B-sides for like CDA, CDB. That was the strategy back then. Released like three versions of a single and then one on the 7-inch. Um,
but I mean, as soon as you signed with Brill, like, did you know the songs that you wanted to record for the album type thing? Did you have them all?
I feel like yeah. I think maybe there's a couple that were more later in the day. Remember there was this song that's oh God, I can't remember what it's called now, but it's the last one on the album.
Okay.
I don't want to Google it myself. It feels weird.
Well, it depends. It was Ice Age, no? Or was
No,
it the last one on here is May Lenoy,
no, I
Valley
wasn't on the
Boy.
original. No, okay, no, these are B-side. This is like yes, kind
Okay.
of deluxe version. We didn't do 23 songs on the
Let's have a
album.
look at this one. I'm gonna get this right. So one second.
I mean, it doesn't
Wait,
matter. Wait,
wait.
yeah, wait.
Yeah.
There could have been one like maybe wrote that one like thinking, we're gonna do an album now. This is a real thing. Things to make and do. I think that one was sort of later, but I might be wrong actually. Yeah, it was kind of like the songs were there. Then we got the record deal, so it was like now we're gonna record these songs, and everyone was kind of happy with that situation because everyone knows what what they're paying for, I guess. Right, recording the album, yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good. We played a lot of football. I remember Sweden. I just remember like that we rented these bikes. We had this like flat sort of rented out for the duration. They rented these bikes for us, and you didn't have to lock them up. That was that's my main memory. They were like, "Don't we have to lock these bikes up?" I was like, "No." Like, but was someone going to take them? And they were like, "Everyone in Sweden's got a bike." It's one of those sort of culture shock things.
Was
Like,
it like
not
was
in
it quick?
London anymore. Mm.
No, God, no. Was it a quick turnaround from recording to getting it released though?
Oh God, that is a good question. No, I don't think so. I think we were waiting a long time. Feel
Okay.
like, can you? No, I don't want to get you to Google Google the band.
Well,
Uh,
it came out. Let's have a look here. The album came out. It was released on 26th of March 2007, but it was recorded 2006.
yeah, it was. I think it was recorded in the summer. I mean, like again,
All
like
right.
those things. I mean, that's probably industry standard, but I remember thinking,
That's a long time
why
there.
do? Yeah, 9. That's insane time to wait. That's the yeah. Um, Stay positive. Okay.
We'd have to.
No, I know. Um, this is not. I mean, this is not musical related, but another thing in Sweden, beer costs quite a lot. So when we would go out and we'd like be able to afford one beer, and one night we were in this bar and someone had left like half a beer on the table, and we were sitting there like nursing these beers for like 2 hours, and Steve was looking at it, and it had been an hour or something, and then he said, I think that beer's been left. I'm gonna take it because that's like worth £6." And yeah, as soon as he took it, some guy came in the bar, and he just been like, he's popped back home or something. Just that sense of Sweden, people trust each other. They trust each other. And the idea that someone would steal someone's beer from their table, like it's innocent. He was innocent because like he just thought someone had left it. And it's like, I don't want that to go to waste because we're poor and Yeah. And this guy came back, it's like speaking in Swedish, obviously saying, just that I left the beer there. Who took it? Who took it? And we're just like, heads down. Anyway, I don't know why those are that's two weird anecdotes from recording an album to remember.
But I mean,
But
was it a good feeling when it was eventually released? Or how was that like?
it was a good feeling. I feel like every like I've got like good feeling in one side of my brain, and then also this sort of like weird negative memory. Because obviously you think, oh, we recorded an album and released it. What an achievement. This is what we wanted to do. But then I remember the album release day, we were on tour and we were doing a gig in Stoke, and we thought it was a proper like you can imagine it in like a scene in the office or something like that, like, oh, let's go down to HMV. It's so we drove to like Stoke City Centre, went to the shopping centre, walked in. Oh, let's go and look for that. See, our album's been released. And then you look at the front shelves and like, oh, it's not, no, can't see it. And then you're like, I look at the new releases. Nope, it's not there. And then just sort of right at the back of the shop. And you're just like, oh, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And there it is, like one CD. Good shoes. There it was. It's like the abiding memory of like, ah, this is not as glamorous as I thought it might be.
Who came up with that
Yeah, no,
artwork, by
right.
the
But
way?
then no, the Steve Ladwin answer. Steve Ladwin energy was like, yeah, it was fucking great. Absolutely amazing. What that is the greatest album of all time. And it was great. See, there you go. That's me struggling
Yeah.
with sincerity again.
Well, I found the NME review from
Oh,
Paul
okay.
Stokes, funnily enough, he's just been on
All
the
right, okay.
podcast.
Yeah.
And his final paragraph was tight, controlled, and aware of the world around it. Think before you speak is a defiant celebration of 21st century living. So it's all right, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's all right. Yeah.
I can't see what score they gave it, but I imagine it was fairly high. But yeah.
Yeah.
Did it feel like he'd done like
Oh, put
most
us on
of?
the bloody cover, Mark. That's kind of like an Alan Partridge moment. Give me a second series. Yeah. We- Yeah. I mean,
I
yeah.
suppose it's the momentum thing. Did you still feel like you had momentum at that point when it came out?
When it came out, yeah. I mean, it was a struggle for me actually. I mean, I like you say, like 9 months, maybe in the scheme of things, doesn't seem long, but I really wanted to move on with stuff. I really wanted just to sort of not rest on our laurels and kind of just do another album, I guess. Like, but then we were like re-releasing singles. It was that era of re-releasing singles, and I kind of felt a bit frustrated by that. I was kind of sick of just doing the same gig over and over again, playing the same songs. But in retrospect, it's like that's what people do. Like 2 years or 2, 3 years, they're playing the same songs. Get over yourself. But it was hard for me. It was I couldn't wrap my head around it. And momentum, yeah, kind of like I wish it was. I understand why from like a business perspective, but for me psychologically it was quite hard to just be sort of feel trapped in that same place. And then we like re-released a single like again, like the first single, just like try again. And yeah, I mean, talking about being a difficult character, like I mean, I now I can tell you a story. Like I'll tell you a story where I was difficult and like, but I was proved. I feel like I was proved right. I won't tell all the other stories where I was probably wrong. But like, yeah, at this point of like re-release a single, as I said, but like it was this crazy, insane ploy by the record company, which like Leo explained this to me. It's like we need to get to like top 20 or something. Like you need to get to like a certain chart position to be listed on Radio 1. Because then they have to play you 10 times a day or something. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna re-release this song that now is like 2 years old.
Which one was it out of
That
interest
was
again?
a small town girl. The
Again,
same
right?
one.
Okay.
Uh, and we're gonna release two. You need to go to Sweden. You need to record some more B-sides. These songs that like maybe should have just been like chucked away. I mean, that's unfair. Maybe like wouldn't have like it's okay to throw away songs, but you got these other songs like go and record some B-sides because we're going to release two copies of the CD. We're going to release like two vinyls. We're going to release like a like a special edition vinyl because like some people buy all four if they're like a super fan. And then we're gonna do a we did a gig at the Astoria, and we're going to record the live gig so then people can like buy that live album on the way out that they sort of like order, like they will receive it. It's like not finished, they'll receive it like 2 weeks later, but that sale still counts for that because you played that song live. So that all adds up to this tally of like getting in the charts. And it was just like, and then I remember him saying, but like, and I remember thinking, but like singles, like the tide was turning to like, people don't really release CD singles like anymore. But the tide was already had kind of turned by that point. I felt maybe, and he said something like, "Yeah, I mean, CD singles are on the way out, but like we're gonna do this like insane thing." But it didn't. Yeah, it didn't work. So I would be kind of like, yeah. I mean, I probably wasn't. Yeah, talking about being a difficult character, I was definitely not skilled in the art of communication. I wasn't. Steve Ludwin is right. I was not. We all weren't. We all kind of moody people, and I was the moodiest of all. And I was probably said like, "You idiot! Why are you? Why are you releasing? Why are you doing this crazy thing?" Like, because I guess in my head I was like, "Then let's just go and write like, let's keep flogging this thing, and let's go write like a better song." Because I had seen like I'd seen, yeah, because they're like that era was like a bit of a whirlwind, wasn't it? And like people were just like getting swept up and then just like left behind, like you're not new anymore, like who cares about you? Like, but they'd obviously were like what, like almost like some bands like we met were like waiting to release their album, like for the right moment, this like imaginary right moment where they were just going to take over the world. But then by the point they released it, it's like you are all old news.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
No, definitely. Yeah, we've talked to people about like getting albums shelved, whatever you call it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, horror stories. I heard of
Yeah.
one band who got told like if your song doesn't go in at like the top 40 or something, you're gonna get dropped and just like your album's not gonna get released. And they got like number 41 or something like that.
Hmm.
That's the story that I heard. And it's like, and then they couldn't really like they didn't own it. They don't own the album, so you just got these people who are like, oh, you're a lost cause, so sorry. I think in that case it did come out in the end, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But did you stay quite productive in terms of writing songs? Like I know you left
yeah.
to
So
2008, but were you quite
yeah,
like involved in the
yeah,
second album songs?
we were still writing, we were writing songs. Um, yeah, and all those, yeah. So pretty much that second album, I was there for writing all those songs. Yeah, so I was there in the room, and yeah, it was definitely more democratic. The second album, I think, more people contributing ideas. But I mean, probably for the negative. I mean, thinking myself, it's probably a negative thing because I felt like we were sort of all like hanging on to ideas, like desperately, like sort of sort of clinging on to our ideas. You know what I mean? And that's not a good way to write songs. It's like you gotta just if something's not working, you've got to just even if it's yours, you just got to say that no, let's ditch that. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I was there for writing the songs. Okay, no, but like yeah, God, time's getting on. So let's get to the next chapter. The the end. The very end. So basically what happened was we just called to our manager one day and he said like EMI have basically been I think what happened they got bought by this guy and he's just like shutting things down. And our label was funded by EMI. Uh and then we just like our manager had obviously had a chat with Brill Records about like doing a second album. They didn't have any funding anymore. So like they've offered you like 50 quid to do it or something like that. And we don't think that's a good idea. So we think we should look elsewhere. And then there was no there was no elsewhere, basically, as far as I remember. And then we sacked our managers. We all got together and we decided like maybe they'd given us bad advice to sort of not just keep going. I don't know, and maybe we wanted a new start. And then we just found ourselves sort of, I don't know, I guess sort of at a sort of a low ebb. Uh, and we were writing these songs and we were still going on, sort of chatting to managers. But like maybe we just weren't a going concern anymore, or like the songs we were writing just didn't appeal or something. And that just went on for a while. And then that's sort of when I made the decision to leave the band, yeah, I guess. Which was again quite a hard thing to do. Uh, because it had formed my identity, I guess, for so long. Um, and because obviously with such like close friends you've known so long, I think Reese was under a bit peeved. I remember he actually said to me, "It's like, well, you should have just done it after we finished the first album." And it was complicated for him that I didn't want to sort of see through this like desire to get these songs we'd written for the second album, like get them. It's kind of not a very neat way to do it. But I was in a kind of a bad headspace. Um, I sort of that initial excitement of being in a band and sort of your friends thinking you're the coolest person, and then you sort of like land back down, and then you like all your friends have like left uni and they've got jobs and they can like afford to live, and they're not sort of stealing beers off people's tables in Sweden and shit like that. You're like, oh right, these people are just like real people now, and I'm just this weird person living there at home. Uh, yeah, and then obviously, like kind of mentioned, running through, I had this thing like this. I guess a thing like this, not really my thing, 100%. And but then obviously thinking like, oh, but then if I really like go for it and get involved, I could make it my thing. But yeah, it was kind of hard. But yeah, I mean, Reese was a bit peeved. uh, and they replaced me. It's fine. Steve understood. I think Tom understood. Um, yeah, what else can I say about that?
Did you go
Uh,
straight into another band, I guess? Go on, sorry.
yeah, well, I was gonna say talking about so I was basically gonna fulfill like the last few gigs we had done, and we had booked. and oh, it was the last one was in Italy, and it was with the Maccabees, and we were like got on the same plane as them, and I remember it was like we were sort of queuing up to get on the plane, and it sort of was revealed that I was this is my last gig, and it was his name is Felix, isn't it? He's like the guitar player, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember him saying to me, like, I hadn't really thought about it in these terms, but he said something like, "Oh, what are you?" I told him, "Yeah, I'm leaving the band." Yeah, and he sort of said, are you worried that in like 10 years you'll just like wake up and you'll have no money and no prospects and you'll just be completely fucked?" He said something like that. Like, oh shit, I hadn't thought about it that way. But yeah, maybe. And I remember like telling my parents were like really supportive of all this stuff, and I said like I'm leaving the band, and they're like, "What are you gonna do?" And it's like my brother was there, and I said like, "Oh, I just think I just want to get like a normal job." And he said, "You're never gonna be able to have a normal job." I was like, "No, not after doing that." And he was absolutely right. It's kind of like, yeah, hard thing to you can't match that kind of lifestyle of like, yeah, but it's not a normal job.
Mm.
And you find yourself like the first job I got, I was a postman. Became a postman. And it's like, fuck, what have I done? And then and then also to be completely honest, part of you is like, am I that guy? Like the guy that like left Oasis, or I don't know what there's a famous story that a guy who's like left Oasis, like
It was the bassist, wasn't it?
and then like I'm missing because it's hard to be objective about your music you're making, I guess. And have I just like have I left like Steve Ludden said, the greatest rock band of all time? I completely fucked this. And yeah, it kind of I mean, I'm over it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a kind of hard thing to do, yeah.
You
Uh,
stayed in music though, yeah.
so I stayed in music, yeah. I mean, I had this other project called Lime-Headed Dog. Talking about ridiculous band names, yeah. And that was
Were you playing bass in that then? Or
no. That was me. That was sort of like that was me. That was me in control of everything.
ah, okay, right.
And yeah, that was remained a niche concern. But I kind of knew that I think I had my eyes open to the music industry, and like if I couldn't earn my millions, if we couldn't sustain something like Good Shoes, which had such like a run of good luck, then I knew the kind of music was making after that was sort of a very slim chance of like yeah getting that hallowed Radio One playlist.
I was enjoying it, listening to it, like good fun.
Oh,
Some of the
oh
songs I
right,
enjoyed it.
yeah. So Lime had a dog, and then that came to an end. I kind of have this other band now, Wall Sun Sun. Done a couple of albums with that, but yeah, it's definitely yeah, it's a passion project. It's not not yeah, it's a hobby.
Right, yeah, fair.
I mean, it's a hobby I take very seriously and takes up like all my free time.
But I mean, you've made a career out of like working audio. Is that the right term? I don't know.
All right, so yeah, so after the band, eventually I started working at the BBC. Yeah, so I was a radio producer. I worked here at a school for a long time, and then I got this little in at the Radio 4 and the World Service at the BBC, and then I've been a yeah, I was a radio producer for a long time. I moved up here to Glasgow. I kept doing that, but then in the pandemic, I sort of yeah combined the two things. I sort of music and sound and stuff like that, and radio. And now I sort of compose music for podcasts, which is a kind of it's a real niche.
Sounds nice.
Like I feel quite reluctant. People sort of say, "What do you do for a living?" And like, I really should say I'm a composer. but that just gives like complete wrong idea. So I say, and then I have to say, oh, I just make music for podcasts, and then they sort of like look at me sideways, like, really, that's that a real job? So yeah, for the BBC, Guardian, and all these Audible, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of come full circle. Music's come back into my life, really, yeah, like as a profession, uh, but in a very different way. Yeah, no drunken nights in Stoke.
Still sounds pretty yes to me. Pretty ideal. Um,
But yeah.
but yeah, better crack into these fun questions
Okay. All right.
before it's too late.
I hope.
So someone on Instagram, one from McHunter Huntle says, did they play a better club night than the new slang in Kingston?
Um. No, that was a good one. Yeah. That did we play a better one? I mean, it's the only way, the right way to answer this is no. Yeah, New Slang is the best club night ever. They were good club nights. I wanted to say earlier, sort of the funny thing about that era is like I'd you'd have these sort of indie club nights that you go to, but I imagine like if that was like in the 90s, they'd be playing like older music, wouldn't be playing current music. I mean, you know what I mean? But it was funny to sort of think like it was good, like the era was in such that you'd go to a club night, but you'd be hearing like music that was like made like that month or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's quite not quite a rare, like, yeah, I think that's a sort of a rare moment. There was nothing retro about it. I mean, I guess like, yeah, the cynics would say like the music was like a rehash, which I don't think is true, but yeah, it's quite good. And yeah, like new slang in Kingston, yeah, it was good. Good crowd there. Good crowd. And if that guy was there, I remember him.
Got one
Uh, fu-
from, go on,
no,
sorry.
new slang. I saw this is a kind of like that. So I went to new slang, and it was because yeah, it was a definite moment when I left the band and I moved back in with my parents, and I sort of had to rebuild my life, and I was feeling quite sorry for myself. But I love the band The Walkmen. Do you know The Walkmen?
Yeah, yeah, brilliant, yeah.
And they have that song The Rat,
Mm.
and I saw that the Walkmen were playing at New Slang, this like this club night in Kingston. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to that. But sort of went on by myself, and I mean, I probably wasn't there. I was probably like 24 or something, but I was like sort of looking at this crowd of like young people all enjoying themselves, and they played that song that where the line is like, when I used to go out, I would know everyone that I saw, and I go out alone. And no,
If I
when
go, oh,
if I
yeah.
go out, oh, and I was like, fuck. I don't know if I did cry, but I wanted to cry. I should have cried. So yeah, so like yeah, I had like a moment, not with Good Shoes, but I definitely had a moment outside of Good Shoes with New Slang, Kingston, great club night. Next question.
One from Valerail Bedev says, did May Lanoy like the song?
Did May Lanoy like the song? That is one for Reese. Yeah, the song Nazanin is also named after a person, but apparently it's got nothing to do with that person. It's just
Okay.
he just liked the name. May Lanoy. I didn't hear any complaints. Never met her, but yeah. Yeah, again, you want to get the head honcho on for that question.
Well, hopefully this will
Yeah,
tempt him on.
maybe if I
Hmm.
badmouth, well, have I badmouth Reese? I don't think so. I want to say for the record that I love Reese, uh, and I would never say anything bad about him. But if it takes me bad mouthing him to get him on the podcast, like Steve Ludman did to me, I'll do it. I'll do it for you.
How how good was he creatively in hindsight? Like, do you look back and think he was like not to slag him off? I just mean in terms of like I still listen to that album now and I think I've got it in my car. It's just I think it's brilliant.
Okay, good.
So I just mean like, do you appreciate him more in hindsight as a songwriter, or
Yeah, definitely. I think I I think basically I sort of joined the wrong band with I had the wrong attitude for the wrong band, I guess, and that rubbed. I mean, I we definitely formed a bond, me and Reese, with like I was saying, like reading the NME and all these things. But there was a point with the NME thing where I think he like kept on that path, and I was sort of got a bit like, oh, hang on a minute. I think it was the Vines. I think it was the Vines that did it. I remember like the Vines album came out, and he was like, "Have you heard the Vines album?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, I'm not sure actually if this is that good." And he was like, "I think it's amazing." I think that was a moment I should have known. Like, yeah, sorry. So that's to explain my kind of I mean, not that anyone cares. I also know that no one cares. I feel like I want to say that I could have just, have you read that book by the drummer in Talking Heads?
not sure. No, well, no.
No, no, no. Yeah, you would know if you read it. But he like bad mouths David Byrne the whole thing. It's like a really horrible thing to read. And up to that point, the image of this Talking Heads guy, that film Stop Making Sense. They did this live. I don't know if you're a big
Yeah,
Talking
I
Heads.
know. Well, yeah, I know vaguely. Yeah.
My image of him was this guy like just like coming out on this drum kit, like smiling, going like, yeah, like being in the greatest band ever. So then I thought, and then I read his like autobiography, and like every other page is like, David Byrne thinks he's the best, but he's actually shit. He took credit for this, and he's actually shit. And now I look at that guy and I'm like, you shouldn't have done that. So I got no, what I totally have like an amazing amount of respect was those early days of Reese and like really having the gall to like chuck himself out there and like take it seriously. I think that's really amazing, and like I think I took that for granted. Yeah, I took that for granted that he'd done that and those skills, and maybe that was sort of like a cause of a bit of friction that I sort of didn't value like that enough. Um,
It is hard at that age, though,
but
yeah, even
yeah,
from my
I
limited experience.
yeah, I mean, it's hard being in bands. It's hard. It's really hard, and it's not like traumatic. It's kind of like a family thing, isn't it? Where you just, yeah, you just you're in close quarters all the time. You piss each other off. You're like talking about this thing that's so abstract, this music. Like, should this bass line be like this or should it be like this? And you have a fucking argument about that. And it's like, it doesn't really matter. But then, like I said, like I think maybe in the same way, or like took it very serious. Like music was obviously is everything to you at that point. And I just think, I mean, I remember like formative musical moment for me was like I was really loved this band Liars. You remember Liars?
Yeah, yeah.
And I went to see them like, and they'd recorded this first album, and it was like a guitar album. And then I went like, but I was like, loved that album, so I booked tickets to see them live. And then they came out, and they were completely different. They like had a different members, and the musical style was like completely like couldn't have been more different. And I was kind of like, I just sort of wanted to, I guess I wanted to be in a band like that, but with that sort of level of freedom. But I should have I should have just fucking enjoyed it. Right at what for what it was. Uh,
Yeah, a few people said that, to be fair. Like, if they're
uh,
going to change something, they'd like just try and enjoy it more. Yeah.
but
But I
it's
mean, I
oh,
guess what?
it's so much pressure because it's like this
Yeah.
is your job. It's like what a fucking weird job, and you got all these people, so many people surrounding you that are kind of like semi your employers, but they're also like working for you. Like you're my manager. I've asked you to be my manager, but like you're telling me what to do, and it's like it's such a head fuck. And it's like whether we can like earn more money next year is like if we can write a song. It's just so like opposite to any other like a typical job. Like it looks like I'm saying like comparing to my what jobs my friends were getting. It's just sort of so hard to wrap your head around. And then you've got to be friends at the same time, and you feel this pressure to yeah write songs. God, yeah, no, sorry, we're supposed to be we should be it's supposed to be the end, isn't it?
No, not
Just getting
really.
started here.
Um,
Yeah, you know, you were trying to fabricate a beef between me and Reese. I mean, I could probably find something less sort of deep to say about him, but
I mean,
let me know.
in my defense, I was trying to get you to praise him, but
No, I did. I did praise him, and I do praise him, and yeah, uh,
I just think, oh,
we
yeah, just
we
well, it's
just didn't
fair.
talk about anything. We didn't
Okay.
like talking about anything like adults. That's the main memory. It's like everyone being completely moody. You know, like have you seen that Beatles documentary where it's like 9 hours long or something? They're all just moody bastards, and they're all complaining about everything. And you're like, you're in the fucking Beatles. You can do anything you want. Like, and everyone's like saying, "Oh, do you want to go to Egypt?" And they're like, "Oh, Egypt. Oh, it's gonna be hot." And it's just like you're just sitting around, like the you're just sitting around there, aren't you? Just like rehearsal studio with your instruments, just like it's yeah. We were so moody. We're just like I should have been better at yeah communicating, but I didn't know anything about myself, and I didn't know how to handle communicating.
No, yeah, I do know
Anyway,
what you mean.
yes, but Reese, yeah, we were. I think, yeah, we were all the same. Steve was actually quite good at communicating, and he had the chops to prove it. Uh,
What manager Steve or guitarist
no,
Steve?
no, guitarist Steve.
All right, yeah.
Um, something good about Reese. Yeah, I mean, he wrote those songs. They, people like them.
I mean, it's really stood the test of time, in my opinion.
Okay,
So
now we're
yeah,
talking.
I
I
feel
like
like if
the
yeah,
Reese's.
I put a tweet out saying if that came out now, I think Six
Wow.
Music could be like going wild for it. But yeah, anyway, we'll move on to the next question.
Well, if I had been more sincere to Zane Lowe, I might have been okay. Uh,
But yeah, I've got one from
next question. Yeah, next question.
Sustainable Golfer who says, "What were the photos on their walls?" Bit of a banter one.
Or what were the photos on? Yeah, it's funny. It's a kind of actually is a bit of what's the word? Sign of the times. That name of that song, isn't it? You. I think that was a common thing, wasn't it? You'd have photos, you get them printed, and you put them on your wall.
Yeah, big thing
I
at uni,
mean,
wasn't it?
sort of, yeah. So I did it. I did that. So I think that's what the. I think that's a reference to that. You'd
Right.
have to ask Reese again. Sorry, but it yeah doesn't happen any. I don't think it happens anymore, does it? You have it on your phone. Or these things called phones. So.
And then the aforementioned Paul Stokes, who reviewed your album for NME, he says,
Oh no way.
the Good Shoes blocks were a thing of beauty. Have you still got them? I
Yeah.
have one of the promo versions.
Oh, does it? Yeah. Well, put us on the bloody cover, Paul. Yeah, they made these. It was a logo printed, not printed, sort of made into like one of those toys that little kids have. Like you put the G in the shape of.
Right.
And yeah, my I gave mine to
That's it.
my parents. Yeah, so it still exists.
I'd love to see that.
And it
Who
was
came up
sent,
with
yeah,
it? Go on, sorry.
it was sent to the press. That's the
Okay, right.
that's the desperation. You think they'll play us on the radio if we send them a kid's toy? Mate, that's not a bad idea, is it?
No, no. I'd buy that for a good 50 quid now, I think, off eBay.
Okay, sold.
But who came up with that logo and the artwork type thing?
Yeah, Reese, absolutely talentless guy. Reese. All did all the artwork. Yeah. Yeah, I think the logo. I don't know, actually, no. Yeah, I might have to get my facts straight on that. There was a few logos. Some of them were designed by Reese, but I'm not sure because there was a kind of like a blocky one that the yeah was made into this toy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Sorry.
Okay,
Well, I
no
think
worries.
it was another guy, but I don't know his name and I wasn't involved.
Right.
I was a bit more on the music videos. I was more of a music video guy, uh, somewhat. But
Okay.
artwork, no, I can't draw to save my life. So,
Yeah, I did want to ask about the one that was looks like it's in reverse. The photos on my wall, actually.
God. Well, yeah, you would pick that one. In
What do you
reverse, yeah.
mean?
The one I'm in for about 40 milliseconds.
Right, okay.
I only remember not being in it much because the guy who made it, I remember him asking all of us if we could learn how to play the song backwards, the whole song.
Jeez.
And we like gave it a shot. And I was like, actually, this is before like I don't know, yeah. I mean, maybe it would be there'd be some sort of way you could do it now, like on a computer and sort of work it out. But uh we gave it a try, but we thought, oh, actually, we just won't do it because it's just there's just too much. And then it was like, thank God we didn't do it because like it's literally like the bat Reese is in the typical thing. Reese is in the whole thing, and then we're just like in it for like 2 seconds at the end, as I recall, and just sort of doing this. Like no one's gonna be like, are they actually playing the notes? So yeah,
I mean, Reece isn't singing it, is he? Apart from on the little TV, I think.
I don't know. Yeah, does he sing it backwards? He doesn't, does he? Does
No,
he?
it doesn't. But then there's like a little TV that
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
singing it
yeah.
on or something. But it'd be easier to do, I guess, on there. I don't know.
Yeah, there's another version of that video that I made with this guy George Fafalios. And then they thought it wasn't good. They thought it wasn't good enough, so then they made that one. So there's a bit of a sore point asking
Ah,
for
okay.
a video.
I did have some video makers of the time come on and talk the way they pitch ideas to people.
Mm,
But would you get ideas pitched to you then?
hmm.
That's interesting. I wonder if they did
Yeah.
one of your videos they're called Type 2 Error. I don't know if you remember.
Say that again.
The business, like the video company name was called Type 2
Oh,
Error.
right. No, there was this guy called Sam, and he did a sort of quite a big budget video, which is for the song "All in My Head." I think that was his idea. That was his idea. Um, and there was this other company.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you about that because you're doing like tricks in there,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
obviously like a bit ahead of its time in terms of things that go viral these days. But
That's the point. Yeah,
were they real tricks? Did you have to?
yeah. No, there was one that was faked, but they were all real tricks. Yeah, yeah. I can.
It's like throwing for anyone wants to listen, like
That's
throwing
weird that I'd
pencils in
forgotten
mugs
about
and
that
stuff.
whole thing. I remember the bit on the cat, like this sort of zoetrope thing, but I'd forgotten about, yeah, tricks. Yeah, there was one, like, I was just doing a practice. I don't know. I was throwing like a, yeah, paper airplane and it went right in the pot or whatever I was supposed to be doing. And the guy was, yeah. And luckily it was like, luckily it got filmed. And he was like, get that, where are you running? It was like they just literally pressed like record like a second before because I couldn't repeat it. They were like, oh, let's do another one then. Couldn't I just like did it first time? Yeah, all these tricks. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, but talking about being a difficult person, like this is the kind of thing like we'd arrive at this video shoot and then like there'd be someone like who'd picked your clothes. Like there'd be a stylist and there'd be all these clothes. And I just like I hated that.
Yeah, I mean that seems quite odd for a band of the time.
Yeah, and it's like you have to wear these clothes. And I'm like, I don't want to wear these clothes, but you need like different clothes like for the different shots because otherwise you're gonna be in all the same clothes in every shot. So that's I think, I mean, is that forgivable to be difficult about that stuff?
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Don't want to be styled today. It's a bit boy band. I don't know.
Yeah, boy band. But
Shouldn't
yeah, that video, yeah, that was quite a good one. That yeah, and what were you saying? That you want to, yeah, that video, yeah, it was amazing. It was Yeah, they had to get like so yeah, if no one's seen it, it's like a zoetrope, which is like this sort of spinning thing where like it's like an animation, kind of like a flip book, but like on a rotating
Yeah.
sort of carousel, would you call it? Yeah. But they did it in real life with real people. So these people they had like, I don't know, 30 extras came and we all dressed the same, and then they'd have to like run and jump in this spot and just hold like this position, just like slightly different than the position of the guy just next to them. So it was quite impressive what they did. And then it was moving really slowly, but then they sped it up. Um and yeah, it was funny because we were all dressed the same, and as all these extras, and no one knew that who was in the band. They weren't there because they were like gave us we're just there because it's for a payday. Because like someone had said, like, come to this place and be in this video, we'll give you 100 quid or something like that. And they were like, well, they'd always think I was an extra, and I was like, oh, I'm actually in the band. All right. What's the name of the band? Yeah. Uh,
Next question.
Next question. Next question. Yeah. Flagging.
SJM just says how Sophia, the
Oh,
band
come
tour.
on, man. This is it.
Uh,
This is what will get Reese on. All these girls that he's named songs about.
so
Innocent
you know,
name.
quickly another one. So the girlfriend that made the animated video was the song about her.
No.
Never meant to hurt you. No, okay.
I could, yeah, no. I mean, in the
That's
interest
one for him probably. But
of privacy, I know what that song is about, but I'm not gonna say. But I mostly won't say because it's not very interesting.
no, fair enough. You got off with the girl I know actually, but I'll leave that for later.
Oh, bloody hell. No.
Prolific.
Okay. No, yeah, no comment on that.
um, someone, Chris out of water on Twitter says, it might be irrelevant that one actually. You worked in the band in 2009 with?
I
Well, he
don't
says, how
go on.
awesome, what, might have to cut this out, but how awesome was it when the random hammered bloke joined you on stage in Bristol sometime around 2009 and tried to sing a song with you? Pretty
Uh,
sure it enhanced everyone's experience, but it was also,
is it this guy?
I don't know, also no way tragic cry for help might have been.
2009. I don't know when I left the band. I don't know. But I mean that even if I was in the band, that was not a rare occurrence.
I was going
Someone
to say,
came
well,
on stage
it's a bit of a
singing.
segue for me because bit of an indie amnesty, they used to call it. But we definitely tarnished one of our gigs once in Leeds.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Go on.
Our mate literally got on stage and booted the power out, I think, by accident. At Brewder now.
In Leeds.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
we were definitely doing our heads in backstage as well because we kind of like forced our way backstage. Quite
Yeah, that
embarrassing
would
to think
happen.
about.
That would yeah, do you mind how old are you? Do you mind me asking?
Yeah, I'm 37 now. That would have been like 2006. I'd have been about 18 at that point.
Okay, right. Yeah, because that happened quite a lot. People would like make their way backstage at like a small venue, but like, we're backstage. Whoa! It was kind of funny, like because they can't maintain that excitement because it's actually incredibly boring, and there's just like a half-eaten sandwich and like it
I think
smells.
it's Chinese there, I remember. But yeah.
What was that?
I remember
Chinese?
there being Chinese food for some
Yeah.
reason. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Fuck yeah.
Did you do
Yeah.
this regularly?
And it's quite embarrassing to think about, to be fair.
Oh, don't worry.
I think we got you to dedicate a song to us as well. It's like, what are we
Oh,
doing?
we would have loved to do that.
Yeah, he did it, to be fair. But it's like, just after the fact, it was like, geez, we harassed you. But yeah.
I I doubt it. I really doubt we probably would have like enjoyed that.
And then we bumped into you again when you played in Hull, which is our hometown.
Oh, you're from home?
And you came to a party with us, I think,
Oh, no way. Oh my God.
after
What did I
Welly.
do?
But yeah.
What did I do?
Well, that's when Reese got off with that girl, but we can cut that out if you want.
Funny, yeah, because I dug in the archive, which is pretty random, but I actually found a set list,
Oh, amazing.
and it's from Hull,
No way.
2006.
That'd have been the one then.
Really,
Yeah, yeah.
I only
That's
kept it
it.
because we'd written on the back we'd come up with our rapper names, and I'm not going to read out what they are. That's why I've kept it. But yeah, okay, Hull, there you go. You were there.
That's it. Yeah,
Amazing. Hull, yeah, good, great town. Love
yeah.
Hull.
Quality. All right, mate. Well, cheers for your time, and we'll just finish on the two that I always finish on,
All
which
right.
is what was the highlight of the early days, and is there anything you do differently?
Oh God. I do want to. Don't know. I wanted to say something at the end actually. So remind me,
Okay.
little story. But what was it? Highlight? Oh, it's quite a lot. We played it at the Astoria. I mean, that's a boring answer, but we played the Astoria, and that's where we went to see gigs when we were younger, and it was like a big moment. But actually, like again, sorry to straight switch straight to the negative, but like we didn't sell it out. We sort of like it was like 1,000 capacity, and we sold like 950 or something like that, and it was like everyone was like, but that's like there's a sort of a dark cloud on every sort of happy moment. But that was definitely a big moment. And when we arrived at the Astoria to do this gig, we thought like we finally made it. And what they have to do is like crane your equipment in because it's like in Soho. Well, it's not there anymore. They had to crane your equipment up to this door or whatever because it was in a weird alley. And it like the drum kit just like fell off this crane like that they'd sort of pulleyed the drum kit on. And I was like, oh shit, I thought like we were finally hitting like the professional level, and it's just, and then we got to the top of it. It's like the dressing room was like tiny at the top, and there was just like 7 bags of crisps in there, and that was it. And it's like, oh fuck, I thought this was a big moment, but it's actually just a bit cruddy. Sorry, that was bad, isn't it? That was supposed to be a highlight. No, I've got
You played Glastonbury and that and
played at
stuff.
Glastonbury, Reading, I think Reading Festival, but I mean that's just gigs, isn't it? Good gigs, yeah. Reading Festival, because we
Was
also
that 2007?
you'd have to tell me. But
Oh,
yeah, and that was big. We did this gig. I don't know if this is too long a story to tell at this point, but
go for it.
it's quite like a legendary night that we relive quite a lot. Has anyone mentioned these like Cambridge balls? Has anyone said anything about that?
Don't think so.
All right.
What, uni balls?
Yeah, uni balls. So they do these actually is this too revealing? No, I'll say it anyway. They do these like Cambridge University balls in the summertime, and everyone like likes to do them because they don't actually know like how much like indie bands playing at like the Camden Barfly normally get paid. So you get like paid like, well, to be honest, you get paid like actually what you should get paid, which is like a couple grand or something like that, because they just don't know. They're just like,
Hmm.
we've got this. Oops, sorry, we've got this massive budget. Is £2,000 okay? It's like, oh yeah, okay, fine. And then that pays for like this other tour you're doing where you're like actually selling tickets and you're like. But anyway, we were booked to do like 2 of these balls. So I'm kind of conflating probably 2 nights into one, but we got to one and we arrived and I was like top security. I mean, they took us to this room and the sort of like the place is like it's like a cathedral. It's like a stately home, you know. It's like sort of like you'd imagine like this old building and like these beautiful lawns and stuff. Like not what we were used to. And we get put in this room, which is like a dorm room, and it's got beds in it. And then this security guard's coming in every 15 minutes, and he's like looking under the beds and like flashing this torchlight, and it's like, what's going on? Like we've got nothing to hide. He's like, oh no, this. this ball was like so exclusive that people like would try and break in and sneak in, and they were
Jeez.
like, there's this river running through these grounds, like I was like insanely grand, and they had fences up because people would like put their tux in a like a waterproof bag and then like swim across the river to get to this party. It was like that.
Fucking hell.
And I was like, oh, right, this party's going to be amazing. And then all this other stuff, they were like, people were sort of on these walkie-talkies and like something, they would say, I don't know what college it was. It was like Montgomery. I don't know what it is. Let's say it was like Montgomery College or something. And they're like, and then there was some rival college called like, I don't know, Windsor College or whatever. And they'd be like, we just heard that Windsor College had just spent an extra 100 grand on their fireworks. So we're just popping out for some more because there was like this rivalry. And then all this stuff is building, right? That like this is going to be the greatest night ever because there's like string quartets like setting up in the hallways and there's like it looks like there's a casino and all this stuff. And then we get taken to this other room. We do our sound check or whatever, and we get taken to this other room. And then this nice young lady comes in and goes, okay, talk, just so you know, like, it's fine for you to go out onto the grounds while you're doing your gig, but we want you to stay in here for the rest of the time. Is that okay? And we're like, oh, sort of looking a bit disappointed. And then we sort of gather together a bit and we're like, no, we're not, that's not happening. So we get our tour manager to be like, no, can you just say to them like we're not, you know that thing you said about not going to the party, we're not going to do that. And then guy Pablo Campanero, legend, goes, "Hi, excuse me, yeah, you know he says like, yeah, he sort of said "Look, they're going to go to the party. Is that okay?" And she's like, obviously just like too like nice to be like, "No, you can't." So she's like, "Oh, okay, fine." So anyway. The party is just like crazy and magnificent, and like everyone's walking around in tuxes and ball gowns, like literally ball gowns, like it's like James Bond or something. And then there's us just walking around like in sort of, the ripped jeans and the sort of like the torn like rumble strips t-shirt or whatever I was wearing. And just people just kept like we were just joining in with the party and chatting to people, and then like midway they'd be like, "Sorry, who the who the fuck are you?" It's like, "We're the band, man. We're the band." And that kind of got us away with it, but they were not happy. They were like, you could tell there was tension. There was like hundreds of people. It was a massive, massive event. And there was like this speed dating room. And I remember that. I remember that's when, yeah, you went around. Like there was this party, isn't it? I just never experienced anything like it, basically. Like free booze, champagne, blah, blah, blah. And there's a speed dating room. Go and sign up for speed dating. Is that you were 1 minute with each person and you go around and literally every tape I'd sit down everyone and they're like, sorry, how did you get in here? Like, like the security in this place is insane. Like people are sort of doing James Bond swims across the river to like, and quickly like taking off their like, I don't know, scuba gear or whatever, just to like get to this party. And you've just managed to just fucking walk in a t-shirt and jeans and just be like, yeah, I'm here. Yeah. So that was funny. But then
Make a good music video, that itself.
oh, make a good music video, wouldn't it? And then there's a part two to the story. Maybe I'll leave it there. No, go on. I was so yeah, the drinking ensued, and then like yeah, and then oh yeah, and then I was like talking to these people. There was this fireworks display, and it was insane. It was just like something I've never seen anything like it. It's just like this is a how the other half live sort of thing. And every fireworks display I've ever seen since, like my wife like loves fireworks. She's always like, "Yeah, that was amazing," and I'm always the one going, "Yeah, I've seen better," because this thing was insane. It was like this sort of like Cambridge lawn and like it was just yeah, it was massive. But and then it was like, yeah, we'll have champagne after the fireworks, and then was hanging out, and then like I'm talking to these guys, and they were like talking about like lords and earls and stuff. Like this was like real like high society stuff. I don't know who it was, but sorry, I'm really going off on one. Sorry,
No,
I'm
I'm enjoying it.
shit time. I don't know who it was, but let's say it was just kept like this guy kept referencing David, and I was like, sorry, who's David? He's like, "Oh, David Cameron." You know, it's this kind of level of like people. And then, so then I think that maybe like made us feel a bit like we need to sort of do something here, like cause a ruckus or something. So we started like chucking glasses again. Oh, see, this is members of our party started chucking like champagne glasses against this wall, just in a bid of I don't know, like creating chaos. Um, and then I think they'd maybe had enough of us by this point. So then announced like the next bit of the night was like was we're all gonna go punting and we'll get on a punt, you know, like one of these kind of
Yeah.
boats you push, and we'll go to another venue and just the party continues. And then but then Tom was the first one to get on one of these punts. Tom the drummer, and famously there's still controversy over whether he fell or he was pushed. I think, given our previous behavior, I wouldn't be surprised if he was pushed. And Tom maintains that he was pushed, but he was also very drunk, so he could have fallen in. But anyway, he fell in this river, and that was like the end of the night. But the sort of like the now the band catchphrase came from this like we've been told, but like every night, like when you sort of end up on these drunken journeys, like your tour manager will always say to you, like, we're staying at the Travel Lodge on South Motorway or something like that. And you'd be like, okay, you'd get there eventually. But this time we were staying in this B&B and it was called Home from Home. It's the name of this B&B. And that's the only information we had. But by this point, like, we had Tom in tow and he was like completely soaking wet and like saying, oh, that guy pushed me in. And he was, it's a bit peeved. But we were trying to get a taxi to this uh B&B, and every taxi just kept getting in. And by this point, it's like 6 in the morning, and people are heading to work, and we were getting this taxi, and we just got in every one, and we just said, "Can you take us to Home from Home?" Just turn around and just look to this guy, just completely soaking wet and covered in like grass, and they were like, "Get the hell out." So anyway, so like that's a band catchphrase. Like, if you ever just want to get home, and at the end of the night, I was like, "Home from home," just desperately shivering. "Home from home, please." Anyway, that's yeah, part two of the story. Don't yeah, you can decide which makes the cut. Um, bloody hell. So that's a highlight. That's a highlight. That's definitely a night that I'll remember. Um, yeah, that's a night I'll remember.
Yeah, yeah. Anything you do differently?
Yeah. Oh, there's two stories I need to tell actually. One I can tell very quickly.
Go on
But no, anything I do differently, you know, it's the catch 22 is like what you need to do is like grow up and learn how to be a human and be an adult and then start a band when you're like
then.
40. But then by that point you can't start a band. Uh yeah, you know, it would have been like anything like yeah, sort of band therapy or something, wouldn't it? Who knows? But you know, what were the chances of us doing that?
Yeah.
Um, what would I do differently? Yeah, yeah. It's yeah, maybe not. Yeah. Well, other people have said that they don't take just have fun, don't take yourself too seriously. Yeah. That's pretty yeah, it's pretty on the nose.
Yeah, fair. What are these
Two
stories then?
two things, yeah. One is It's just a little nugget. I think you'd like it. We were playing at this festival. It's called Tales of the Jackalope, and it was organized by Vice magazine, and I think it was quite famous at the time because like no one bought. I don't know. No, either no one bought tickets or they were just giving out free tickets. They were like desperately giving out free tickets to anyone to persuade them to come. And I went to watch the Horrors. The Horrors were playing. It was like 3 in the afternoon, and I was enjoying it. It wasn't a packed tent. It was quite empty, as I say. And the dude, the singer, I don't know what his name is. He
Faris.
Faris. He had drop kicked me from the stage,
Right. How does that
and
work?
I was just sort of like, "Fuck, that was weird." Yeah. I mean, he either that was just part of his stick, or he just didn't like me.
Right. So
But
what? So they were playing at the time.
he was playing, yeah, he was on stage, and he sort of, I don't know, he was like sort of. I was quite close to the front. I was kind of quite enjoying it. I was like, yeah, this is. And then, yeah, like again, it's not like it wasn't rammed. This is quite a sparsely attended festival. I think I was there. I don't know who was next to me. A member of Good Shoes, Steve, I think. And he just sort of launched himself from the like the bar at the front of the stage and just, I can still feel it to this day. And I didn't chat to him afterwards, but I chat to I can't remember any of those guys' names right now. I think he's
Reese, maybe, I don't know.
keyboard player, and he was a nice guy. They were, and then, yeah, I said like, well, I wasn't like starting a fight. I was kind of just like, is this cool? Is this cool? You know, it's like if Iggy Pop like sort of drop kicked you, it'd be like, this is the greatest story ever. So I was like, is this cool? Or did I just get assaulted? Or was he just in the fit of the moment and he just like had to do that? And is that like artistic expression? But yeah, I got no beef with the guy. It's fine, but I wouldn't mind an answer. But have you talked to him?
Yeah, he's been on, yeah, but I might
Oh,
get
he's
him on.
been on.
Get him onto the radio show maybe and ask him.
Just that radio show. Are you doing a radio show?
Well, just it's just an online one.
Oh, right. Okay.
But,
Well, yeah, you might, yeah. It might be just he says like that's just a thing I did at every gig, and that would be fine. Or maybe he'd heard something about me and it's like, take this guy out. Um, but yeah, I did speak to the rest of it. Yeah, I think the keyboard player, and he was like, yeah, he's really sorry about that. And he was really posh as well. Horace couldn't believe him. It's like they were like, oh, you know, he's dreadfully sorry. No, maybe not that posh. Uh, yeah. So that's one. That's a little nugget for you. Correct. Yeah. Next, again, you get him on the radio show. I'll text in that question. Why did you drop kick me at Tales of the Jackalope in 2007? Um. Oh no, the other one. This is more like more serious. No, no, is it serious? I don't know. But I was yeah scrolling through who you'd interviewed, and the sorry what am I trying to say? I'm trying to remember her name. The Holloways.
right.
You got spoke to the guy from the Holloways, and then I sort of I did a little Wikipedia on a few bands. I was like, oh, I wonder what they're up to. And then I saw that that guy had died. So this is serious now, serious. Um, and he's had sort of trouble with drugs. This guy Rob, and I'm not, don't actually, I'm not, I didn't know him very well or anything. So this was news to me that he sort of had struggled with addiction and stuff and died. And I thought that was sad because we did some gigs with them. And here's a memory of that particular guy, Rob, and it shows like what we were like as Good Shoes, really just like struggling to have fun sometimes. And we did this gig in Ireland with the Holloways in the 1990s. I remember it was in Dublin, and it was something to do with Top Man. And as part of doing this gig, you got taken to Top Man, and you got give you. They said like, oh, you can have £100 worth of clothes, and being yeah, like I say, Good Shoes being just like pernickety, like just take the free clothes, man. We were like, can we have a We don't like any of the clothes, so can we have a voucher, please? And we'll spend it online or something. But this guy, well, the reason I tell this story is this guy, Rob, he walked right into Top Man, Dublin, went right to the back of the shop, I remember, and he just picked out a full white suit, said, I'll have that, please. Put it on, wore it at the gig, and and just looked like mad cool the whole time. So yeah, as I say, I didn't really know that guy that well, but just a nice memory of that dude.
Yeah, yeah. No, nice one.
Okay.
All right.
And I was drop kicked by no. I
Steve
probably
Ludwig,
deserved
no?
to be dropped. Steve Adrian, he probably wanted to drop kick me. Um, okay. Well,
Ah,
this
I say,
yeah.
cheers, mate.
I mean, thanks for having me on. I hope that was okay.
No, it's brilliant. I've been like, yeah, being like gagging to get one of you on, so it's really interesting for me. I think you're one of the, yeah, like I said, one of the best bands from that period for me. So
Really?
yeah, yeah, I think you,
Wow.
I think you really stood the test of time. Like I said, I'm really glad that I saw you multiple times back in the day.
Well, that's really kind of you to say. And no, you're forgiven for breaking in backstage. I hope it. I hope it was. I hope it was as interesting as you thought it would be. I mean, it definitely wasn't.
I
Chinese.
think we even I think we even wangled one of your numbers from Leeds, and then we text you when you got to Hull, and you're like, "How on earth have you got my number?" Just like bizarre behaviour looking back from us, but
No, 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 no. You weren't. No, we were into that kind of thing. Like,
yeah, fair enough.
sorry to start another thing off, but yeah, touring and like just bumping into random people, ending up at random parties. That uh was a great part of it. But yeah, yeah, all that drinking. Yeah, I mean, I haven't mentioned it, but it's all just yeah, it does hell. Yeah, I know. There you go. What would I have done different? I would have drunk a lot less. Yeah,
Is it
100.
hard not to, though, I guess, when it's
Oh,
speaking
you're
to other
covering a
bands?
can of worms. We're trying
It's
to
like
wind it
speaking
up.
to other bands. It's like it's like an excuse. Like there's no one telling you not to drink, basically.
What I say to people is like, imagine going to work and they're just like being bottles of spirits and beer and like a big case of beer and that just being normal. But then it's not you. You're to blame as you're to blame as well, you know. And we embrace that whole thing, you know, the idea of like getting drunk every night and that being what you're chasing. But also, what am I going to say? Yeah, you know, you're definitely encouraged to be like that. I remember, yeah, people, yeah, I remember like you know, this photographer, another like little tiny micro memory I've got is like we did this gig in Mick Rock. He's like this famous
Yeah, yeah.
photographer. I think he might be dead now. But he was there. He was obviously just paid to be there by some like and probably like not Top Man, but some other clothing company. And he came in he came in like sort of like shepherded in by this guy who's working for, you know, Diesel or whoever it was. And he was like, do something rock and roll. And I just really remember that. It's like that kind of sums it up. It's like, what the fuck? What is that? What is that? Something rock and roll right now. And like, you know, I mean, it's like, yeah, it's just funny that he said that, you know. He I thought he would be like a cool guy. Did he say that to David Bowie? Do something rock and roll, David. Uh
There's a
yeah.
clip of him with Razorlight. It's really weird. It's like it's similar. It's just like shouting at him, basically.
Yeah. So, but that, yeah, that sort of, yeah. I mean, you probably talked about this many times, but idea of rock and roll and getting drunk and things like that. I mean, I don't drink any. I gave up drinking and some years ago. Uh, and you know, it's like you do all this, you do like therapy and all this shit like this, and you're like, now I'm ready to start a band, and it's like, oh, sorry, oh, sorry, you've got kids, and it's like literally impossible, you know. Um, yeah, um, yeah, hard not to drink to deal with the boredom as well. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
as part of it, and also I think yeah, I drank a lot just to sort of escape my own mind and insecurities and but anyway, let's not make this a therapy session. Okay, I did. Did I say Faris from the Horrors drop kicked me? Yeah, I did. I got a little note here. Don't forget to say that.
Yeah, I'll have to
Um,
bring it up.
yeah, okay. Well, thanks a lot. And congratulations on the project and keep going, man. Keep going until you get everyone.
Gotta get them all, yeah.
I can't help you. I've lost all contacts. But
Yeah, yeah.
shout out to the Xerox teams, great band, and shout out to Rumble Strips, great band.
Well, yeah, we'll get you on the radio show if you want to pick your 10 favourite songs of the era if you fancy it.
Oh, okay.
Do that later.
Yeah,
Later
let's
time.
let's stay in touch.
Yeah, yeah. All right, nice one, mate.
Cheers, man.
Cheers again. Thanks for getting in touch, Joel. I really appreciate it.
Maybe you'll get the others. I can't promise anything. But yeah, to the good choose heads out there, they're all doing well. They're all alive and well and holding down steady jobs as adults.
All right, yes.
I keep it that vague.
All right, nice one, mate.
All right.
Take care. I'll be in
Cheers.
touch.
Bye.
See you.